Well, hello there to all the good people of Ohio and beyond. This is Aaron Knapp, and you're tuned into Unplugged, broadcasting without permission. This is a place where the truth gets louder and we dig deeper, and where we always remember be lawful, not awful. If you want the full stories, the documents, the videos, and everything they don't want you to see, head on over to Aaron Knapp, unplugged.com, my new home for every investigation, every episode, and every update. And while you're here, be sure to like the video, follow the page, and hit subscribe, and share this with someone who needs the truth. We're building something real here. We're building something fearless, and we're doing it together. Welcome to Unplugged. Let's kick this thing off.
Plug with Nap. Yeah, we cut through the noise. No script, no leash, no polished decoys. Broadcasting without permission. We don't ask. We lift the curtain and we drop the mask. Unplug with Nap. Yeah, we cut through the noise. No script, no leash, no polished decoys. Broadcasting without permission. We don't ask. We lift the curtain and we drop the mask. Unplug with Nap. Yeah, we cut through the noise. No script, no leash, no polished decoys. Broadcasting without permission. We don't ask. We lift the curtain and we drop the mask. Unplug with Nap. Yeah, we cut through the noise. No script, no leash, no polished decoys. Broadcasting without permission. We don't ask. We lift the curtain and we drop the mask. Unplug with Nap. Yeah, we cut through.
What the heck? Well, good evening there, Lorain City, Lorain County, and everyone else that might have to tune in tonight. Find out the deets on what happened. I apologize because I started this show out and I don't even have a Red Bull, so I'm gonna have to get up and get a Red Bull in a second. So before I even start, give me 1 second and let me grab my drink, and I'll be right back. You know, it's really funny. I was listening to my own theme music, and I was like, you say no script, but there kind of always is a script. I mean, obviously, I don't just go off the handle and talk about everything all at once and just throw it all out there. Before I start with the whole situation with City Hall, I do want to point out, and rightfully so, that this week has been about the union. It's been about UAW and about the situation going on out there with the county commissioners and the fight with the people at UAW and Health and Family Services. I just want to point out, I've been communicating with these people for a long time, and I know that there's several people within the union that despise me. A couple of them, tried to introduce themselves to me the other day. I don't, and this is going to be kind of a great segue into what we're going to talk about, because I don't do well with on-the-spot confrontations. My PTSD, while it may seem weird to some of you out there, I just react the way you react because I mirror you. I don't really have the kind of emotional response that everybody wants me to have. So, anyway, regardless of that, I just wanted to say I support the people out there at the UAW. They're doing something, we drove by there a couple of times today. I didn't realize they're striking on the backside too. So you go around the front side and they're striking, and then you go around the backside and they're striking. And we were going over to Mr. Gargus's office, and then we had to go to North Coast for my daughter's classes. And the workers are on the backside. So we got to honk on the way on one side, and we got to honk on the way on the other. And for those of you that don't really know, I'll give you a little synopsis here about that. Now that it's out, I can kind of talk about it somewhat. My understanding is the last best offer the commissioners gave was like 90 days. The last 90 days, they've been working without any kind of a contract, so they've been getting paid. They've been supporting themselves with their own, inside food pantry. The irony that the people from our food services and health services are doing that. But anyway, support them, give them a honk when you drive by and let them know that, you're out there listening and that you kind of care. And, that way, at least you let them know that they're out there because they're not getting the proper amount of benefits. They're not getting the proper amount of pay. And whether you like me or dislike me, as I said in a post recently, it really doesn't matter. I'm not here to win any popularity contests with anybody. It's not going to win me anything. It's not going to earn me any points with anybody. So I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing, which is reporting. And in the grand scheme of things, I'm literally nothing more than a product that they're making. I don't know why they're upset about what happened, because I'm like, honestly, they did it to themselves. I was happily just working, doing my own thing at juvenile justice, not a care in the world, happy as can be until McCann came along. And, that McCann transition also kind of plays into what we're dealing with tonight. And that transitioned into dealing with Carry On and dealing with others. Yes, I do. All right. Sorry, my dog. And so, it ended us here. Now, I get it. Everybody in there is just like, oh, you're a maniac, you're a lunatic. Well, look, guys, you want to look right at me as you always do, because I'm tall, I'm loud, hair, whatever. I'm an asshole. I get it. But you don't see what's going on the other side. You don't really actually get to see the real aspects of what they're doing. So I'll get to this within the story, but they actually, I started this out. I gave them all of my VA disability paperwork. I actually have a service dog. That was my service dog. I could bring her in there if I wanted to, but the amount of animosity and stress that goes on in that building, I just have never felt it conducive to bringing her. And in a lot of these scenarios, I don't bring her places because I haven't ever felt welcome. The real whole story that started things with me and McCann was an incident at Rockin' on the River that they didn't want to let my service dog in at the time. Again, I never have felt welcome here, ever, not once. I tried to take my brother to Rockin' on the River with my service dog, right? I want you to know something. I moved here, bought a house here because my girlfriend lived in Avon Lake at the time, Jennifer, and boy, I love Jennifer. And I bought this house here in Lorraine because I wanted to be close to her because she lives in Avon Lake. And this was close. And she broke up with me because she said she couldn't date someone from Avon Lake. And I was like, wow. It wasn't that. That was just an excuse. I know it was because, we had run our course. But the bottom line is that I buy this house here, and from the get-go, like everything I've tried to do met with negativity. But I was working in juvenile justice. I was doing my part. I was putting it out there. And along came McCann. First the dog thing. Then I made a couple of complaints with some officers that I had some interactions with that were less than polite to me. And, again, I wasn't trying to be all crazy about it. I made reports. Again, the first set of reports was against one of the guys he fired, and Tabitha was the supervisor that excused it. And, but I'm the bad guy, right? I never understood it. Like, as a social worker, people think we're supposed to just do, therapy or this, that, and the other. And that's not the case. Most social workers deal with social justice. We do, advocacy work for people who can't advocate for themselves. And that's where the whole scenario came with the Hildreth kids and why I stepped in there, because a couple of them had some stuff in the juvenile courts, and the LPD was trashing the juvenile courts. The juvenile courts tend to forget that part of this whole story. They were trashing the juvenile courts. McCann was saying, I think it was Judge Schwinsky and maybe Judge Glass, but I think it was Judge Schwinsky's court. He was mad because one of these kids had been in Judge Schwinsky's courts from the Hildreth case, and so he published some records he got from a file. He got Lorraine City Schools files through a grand jury, which he was allowed to have. He just wasn't allowed to share them publicly. So he shared them all publicly. They finally took him down. In the grand scheme of things, they couldn't even figure out how I still had a link to it. Well, the links stay up. People forget, even if you take down a story, if someone has a direct link, sometimes it'll still stay up. So I guess that's what happened there, and it stayed up forever. This kid's childhood information stayed up to well after he was 18, and it's my duty as a social worker to try to get that down. I went to Jeff Graham. I spent 2 hours. I recorded him. I had a video recorder in my pocket. I recorded the whole meeting. I posted it online. Try to tell people, why do you think I don't, I record everything. I have a recorder on me. Other people have tried to say, will you turn your camera off? No, I won't. Because I don't trust anybody anymore. Why would I? Why would any of you? Honestly. Why would you trust anybody in this town? I know we can delve into that, but you got the commissioners attacking the sheriff. You got the sheriff attacking the commissioners. You got the prosecutor attacking the commissioners. You got people going after the recorder. The recorder, for God's sakes. I couldn't make this stuff up. I mean, this is such a soap opera. It reminds me of an old country song. Still you wonder who's cheating who and who's being true, who don't even care anymore. Makes you wonder who's doing right by someone tonight and which commissioner's car's parked next door. I just don't know. But yeah, it's crazy out there. Now I get it. Some people look at me and they see these little clips and they go, oh my goodness, Aaron, he's crazy, he's manic, he's unhinged. No, listen. If you look at the video, and again, all everybody saw was the chest video, right? Now, you forget I have one here and another one back here. So, I haven't even downloaded the one from back here yet. But the one from right here kind of angled up like this, and it caught the whole scene of Ray. And then the one that was here cut the chest. So everybody hears the volume. I would challenge you to do this, and maybe I'll do this when I play it. I'm going to play it without the volume, without my voice, which, everybody says you're yelling, you're doing this, you're doing that. Listen, this is what I sound like right now. Like, if I wake people up in my house, it reminds me, you know what, maybe if I remember to use this thing once in a while. I just got this from the VA, and they told me, that's part of the reason why I talk so damn loud, because of the ringing of freedom in my ear. And they're like, well, maybe if you, test. Yeah, I think that's good. So I have to wear that now. It helps with shutting down the ringing, and sometimes I guess they say it'll help with my talking loud, but then I forget to wear it, and so it's just a whole thing. But everybody just thinks I'm yelling all the time, and I'm not trying to yell. And I'm just loud. My kid's loud. I'm loud. I could show you. I have a book down here somewhere. All of my report cards from when I was a kid. And oh my God, that my mom kept. And I'm not even gonna do it, but I could go through it. And all of them, talks too much. It's really loud, blah, blah, blah. That's just me. I'm not trying to be aggressive. And then I get the PTSD, and I don't really even know how to express emotion to people anymore. It just comes out a certain way. But let's get into the meat of this story. I do got a little bit of some laid out for you tonight that we're going to go over, and it's going to coincide with the videos and the pictures and all that good stuff. And yes, I am going to file something. I know Carissa asked that, but I also knew that Carissa wasn't going to report anything of the truth. She's asked me for quotes before, and as always, the Chronicle doesn't ever do the appropriate quotes. They do what they see fit, and that's kind of what happened. She wrote what she wanted to write. She didn't include all of my quote, and I get that because she dislikes me. I don't get why. I'm an advocate, but the bottom line on that one is that she wrote her story. She wrote the government story. She wrote what the government wanted her to sell. They're not going to look at what else is going on. They're not going to look at the fact that I'm currently involved in a lawsuit against him, including Ray Carrion. They're not going to look at that lawsuit is for retaliation. You're not going to look at the fact that on October 20th, when he did do that yelling match, and everyone wants to make me be out the bad guy. Okay, you got to understand Robert's rules, as Mary would always say, and you got to understand all these other scenarios. The bottom line is this: is in Robert's rules and all these things, it acknowledges that, and even in the ORC, that the floor is what matters, right? It's Ray held the floor. Ray then basically had given up the floor at the moment he yelled at me, in order to because it went like this. If you listen to the audio file that I have, you hear Carry on finishing talking, and he says, we normally wouldn't waive these kind of fees, but we're doing it in this instance, and you hear me say to Garen, because again, I went, then why are we? You can hear it on the audio. I get it. The room echoes. But the bottom line is that don't matter. And for God's sakes, you let Tia Hilton come in there and effer me up one side and down the other, and you didn't do anything. Chief was there. Everyone just stood there like dumbfounded. You've let other people come in and do it. And nothing. I've never cursed in that building. Not once. Never gotten up on that mic and been utterly disrespectful to any of you. Not once. Have I given you what you deserve at times? Absolutely. Because sometimes you guys are jackasses. Now, I get it. People are mad I shared Tony's video again. But honestly, nobody asked me if they cared if they shared the Madhouse video multiple times. Nobody asked me if they care if you throw those articles in. So when people say, aren't you worried about how people are going to see you? No, because you folks treat me, not all of you, I don't want to generalize everybody, but a good chunk of the public treats me like utter dog crap. And the rest of you silently cheer for me, come up to me in stores and talk to me and tell my daughter, everyone, hey, yeah, everyone recognizes your daddy and all this stuff. And I silently have support within the schools and within the union and with all these little administrations and governments. And so, for the record, for all of you out there that do help me, I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for the information you provide, for the stances that you take. It's great. That being said, the story I know you guys are all waiting on is what really happened that night at City Hall. Now, if you only saw the video, you didn't see the story. If you watched the video, what you saw was a moment. You saw me raise my voice, asking for the story, because I'd asked them before they even left the floor, both the mayor and Ray Carrion, long before Krista was engaged with them. I was asking them just one simple question. I wanted to know about the CCI tower thing, that they were putting an antenna on top of the water tower. I don't disagree with that. I mean, everyone's seen my stories. I feel like I lean CCI, right? Isn't the other one? I don't know. I always forget. CCI is suing the county because they want to do the other thing, and because Lorain City still uses the CCI stuff, they want to put a radio antenna up on top. I'm down with that thing. I just thought, well, hey, aren't we worried a little bit? Just the uncertainty with the ongoing litigation. How's that going to play out monetarily? It's a legitimate question for someone that's breaking into news and is trying to be. I mean, I'm trying to be fair. As much as anyone wants to talk about me, I always try to be fair. When the truth came out and Hall and his ilk, turned on me, I came out and said I was wrong. I don't get it. It's what you guys want, right? That's what I do. I'm honest about it. I tell people, hey, I got that one wrong. I jokingly get on the phone and I'm with people and say I'm obnoxious, hey, da 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 da. But it's I get it. So what you saw, maybe to you it looked like anger, maybe it looked like frustration, maybe something that felt uncomfortable to watch, right? And for a lot of people, that was enough. You took that clip, you watched it once, maybe twice. And that was the first one I put out, which was the live video that only had my chest plate. The live video that goes on Facebook. You looked at it, you watched it once, maybe twice, and you made a decision about who I am. You started saying things which you've been saying anyway, but I'm unhinged. I'm a lunatic. He's mentally ill. Kind of am. I mean, I have PTSD and TBIs and ADHD, so I talk to myself a lot. It's always a great conversation. But some of you said worse. Now I'm going to sit here and pretend that part does not exist, right? Because it does. I have PTSD. I have TBI injuries. It's documented. The city's got those documents. I've sent them to them multiple times in writing, asking for accommodation, telling them things like, hey, please don't come at me. Don't yell at me like that. Don't come at me aggressive. Don't yell at me from the floor like it's vaudeville. Like, got something to say? You say something. You say something. Hey, Adrian, you say something, Adrian. No, man, that's not how this shit works. Like, as I was saying earlier, as I get distracted, because I am going a little off script tonight, I'm trying to be honest and open about all this. Probably bring up at least more comments, see if there's anybody commenting. But I've been trying to tell people. Oh, yeah, there's 3 comments up there. Oh, yeah, there we go. Thanks for putting it up there. I appreciate you. But, I sit here and I think to myself, you guys are so easily throwing out that word mentally ill. On one hand, you'll be like, oh, we should support, all these agencies that do all these things. And you'll sit here and call a licensed social worker mentally ill. Yeah, I have disabilities, documented disabilities. I'm sorry if that doesn't set well with some of you. My hearing sometimes makes me talk loud. And what you call a lunatic or crazy, I mean, hey, you know what? In the end, I guess Howard Hughes ended up being crazy, recluse. But maybe it wasn't because he was crazy. Maybe it was because the society around him didn't want to hear his ideas, didn't want to even believe that he could be right. And so they just hammered him into, never wanting to come out. And later I'm going to get to talk about that in this whole thing, is that I have emails where it talks about Ray Carrion talking with other government officials, how he bumped into me at fairs, and they've been discussing me in emails for 2 years, knowing that I have trauma, knowing that I have PTSD, knowing that McCann wrote emails about me and they lied about that. But okay. So before we yeah, that's right. So yeah, CCI provides the Harris radios. Lorraine has the Harris radios. Lorraine just paid 70,000 or 700. I forget the exact number, but we paid a good chunk of money for the Harris radios to be installed in certain cars. Now, again, I'm not against the Harris radios. I think that Ray Carrion and crew made a good choice with the Harris radios. I think they made a good choice putting that antenna up. God, this hearing aid does make things so much easier. But I think they made a good choice when it came to the Harris radios, and putting that radio antenna on top of our water tower is also a good use of space, because where the hell else are you going to put it that it's going to get reception? And the Harris radios already are reportedly get better reception in certain areas. And I know that a lot of people like them and want them. I know there's a lot of people out there being scapegoated over this whole radio situation, when in fact you shouldn't be looking at any person at the administrative level lower than the commissioners. You shouldn't be judging, people like local fire chiefs or police chiefs, or even judging local safety service directors for buying the Harris radios, because honestly, I think that was a good thing Ray did, or the city did, or the mayor did. But I believe it was Ray. I think it came from his budget, was to do that. And I wanted to know, because I wanted to know if it was going to affect us. Because I like that they did this, especially considering that the commissioners have supported this. Um, how's it going? But good to see you in Chi Town. I support the Marks radio system, and I really did want to write a story on it. I thought it was going to be a mundane story about them putting this tower up and me saying, look, and again, I kind of shifted to the commissioners lately. Hadn't really been paying attention to City Hall. Had a really good meeting. It was quick. It was easy. We were in. We were out. I videoed it. They know I have 3 cameras on, and yeah, I do a little theatrics on occasion. It's the anxiety, folks. That's what we do, right? It's a little song and dance. You even see it here when I do it. What I'm doing here is no different than what I'm doing there. It's like no comment, no comment, no comment. All right, no comment, no comment. Right? Whatever. What am I supposed to do? Either I can be like no comment, or I can be like, hey, you carry on. I don't do that. I sound loud, yeah, but I'm not cursing and yelling at him. Yeah, I flipped Bradley off. Hoo hoo. I've been trying to point out constitutionally protected language is protected language, no matter whether they like it or not. And I am a veteran, and yeah, I do like my curse words, but I also have been trying to work on them myself because I'm trying to get my daughter to stop. And I have another person in my life who I care deeply about, who's asked me to help them stop cursing as much. And it would be, I would love to help. And so it helps me, it helps them, it helps whatever. Anyway, boo hoo. So, but I'm not going to sit here and exist. That part of me doesn't exist. I'm also not going to pretend like I'm not emotionally disconnected from most of this stuff. When people say, oh, you're angry, you're mad, I'm not really. I don't. I do have PTSD and TBIs. It's documented. They know the city. It just doesn't really. I feel like sometimes, like Burke and Anchorman was like, "Are you just saying that because we're saying it?" He's like, "Yeah, pretty much." Sometimes I'm reacting that way because you're reacting that way. But I've explained it to the city very specifically how I respond when I feel physically threatened. I told them my response is verbal, that my response is loud, that my response is immediate, and that it's a defense mechanism. It's not a secret. I told them, like in multiple emails, letters, everything. They're aware of it. It's something they knew about. Ray has known about it for quite some time. He's been on my front porch. He's talked to me. It all started back then when he was city council. Everybody knows that by now, and they keep taking advantage of it. They keep, you can say what you want about what happened the other day, but I was in the doorway. Ray did slam the door on me, and after that, I did start elevating my voice. But I didn't stop saying polite words. I didn't start saying F you, F you, F you. I didn't, call anybody any names till I got outside. But I get it. People don't like curse words. They don't like to be called the B word. But it's a female dog, and it's in the dictionary. That's not threatening. None of the things I said that night at City Hall were threatening. They were all constitutionally protected language. I understand that. I sit around and watch. I have nothing better to sit around and watch these videos all day. I listen to these guys talk. And yeah, normally I'm pretty cool and copacetic until you start getting right up in my grill, which we're going to get to that. So if you take that video and you cut it down to the moment and you remove everything else that came before it, then yeah, it can look like whatever you want me to look like. You can make me look unstable. You can make me look aggressive. You can make me look like someone who just snapped in a hallway for no absolutely good reason. But that's not the record. Yes, it is. A dangerous freedom is better. What is it? If you're willing to give up a little piece for a little or a little, not piece. If you're willing to give up a little, oh, you're gonna screw it up. And don't screw this one up. If you're willing to give up a little freedom for safety, then you don't deserve either. Something to that extent, right? Sorry, it's been a long day. I barely missed the court today by like 9 minutes. So I have to wait till tomorrow to file that I need to file. So, but the thing is that you can make me look whatever you want, but I didn't snap in a hallway, and I didn't snap at all, really. All you saw was a fragment. You hear my voice because I'm right here. Okay, the camera's right here. Imagine that. Imagine the camera's right here when I'm talking. It's right here and it's right here. This is, and I'm talking soft right now. Imagine if I started talking louder. It's vibrating off my chest when it's coming out. So, yeah, it's gonna sound loud when you're looking at it without looking at what caused it. Right? You don't look at the greater cause. You're just looking at the effect, right? Oh, look, someone's bleeding. Well, yeah, because hitting someone back is always the thing that people see, right? No one ever sees the kid that hit you. The kids are like, look, he hit me first. I didn't see that. Of course you did, because nobody was looking until you smacked them back. Nobody was looking at me and Ray and Carissa or anything. And to prove my point, my wingman didn't even know that I'd left the building. Right? He was like, listen to me. Where'd Aaron go? Like, Aaron was like, wait, what happened? Like, he didn't even know what happened. And I was like, okay, well, he didn't know what happened because it happened so quick. The mayor walked on past, and I saw the safety service director giving an interview to Carissa, and I was like, well, hey, I'm media. I'm always there. She's not always there. I'm sure she had a valuable question asked that I would have loved to have heard. And if you're in a public space and you're a government official after a meeting, that's the time the press gets to ask you questions. People keep saying, well, why did you wait till the end of the meeting to ask the question? Well, because legally that's when the press have to ask their questions, folks. First off, let's just explain that out loud, because that seems to be a common question coming up, is that why did you wait till the end to ask the question? Well, I'm going to try to explain this because my daughter says sometimes I talk to people like they're her, like a child. But during the meeting, as a civilian, which I get up and often speak, which I did that night. I got up and I spoke, and I spoke about, I don't know. Can't remember what I spoke about now because it doesn't matter. I think it was about maybe the oath. Maybe it wasn't. I have a lot to say all the time, usually, obviously. So I'm sitting there and I'm dealing with it, and I'm talking to these people, and then I can't just ask news questions because they're not going to answer. They've said it clearly to all of us. We don't answer questions, right? Hey, honestly, they make great police auditors, because when you go up and you ask city council, hey, so who's gonna pay for this? We don't answer questions. Oh, well, why are you breaking your own rules? We don't answer questions. Well, why did you say this but then do that? I'm sorry, sir. Do you have any ID? We don't answer questions. That's what it feels like. And so, I'm like, all right, let's play this game. Let's keep playing this game. So along goes the city council. It made me look aggressive, whatever. Actually, this current city council hasn't done anything to me yet. Maybe a couple that are still on it, but the reaction without a cause, you're judging a person based on the reaction without looking at really what caused it. You're not looking at the truth. You're looking at a narrative that's easy to accept because it's simple, right? Aaron's crazy. It's not simple. And for the record, this is my story. So we're going to talk about that moment. Then we got to kind of talk about how we got there, right? Because I didn't just become the guy in the hallway one night. That's not how it started, and that's not how it ends. All right? It's just not. Now that brings us to our first quick little break here. I am going to put up a quick. I do have a couple of ads that I play. And if you're new to the podcast, they're always the same ones right now. As we're getting started with our new LLC and our media company, we'll have some different ones coming. But for now, we always like to support our friends and our supporters and our family. And in this case, it's a supporter, someone I'd like to call a friend. We're going to talk about this guy, and then we'll get right back to the first part, which is how it actually started, when it started, because it didn't start on February 16th. It started a little bit before that. But let me play this quick ad, and then we'll get right back to it.
Here at Unplugged with Aaron Knapp, we like to thank our sponsors. We have a few unofficial sponsors tonight, and they are definitely not paid sponsorships. I want to throw out there a big thank you to Joseph Jones and Eric Jones of the Lorraine Daily and the Vermilion Daily. They have a local news page. You should check them out. They do plenty of great work broadcasting all the news that is the news that you want to have in Lorain and Lorain County. So check them out. Also, please, if you need any legal services, feel free to reach out to Robert Gargas. You can find him listed online. He's a fine attorney and comes highly recommended by yours truly. And last but not least, I want to mention D&C Radio. Please make sure you check out one of the up-and-coming internet hip-hop stations and all of their shows. They put on a lot of shows. You have the Never Outdone show. You also have the Eric Bowen show, Speak Up, Speak Out. So please make sure you guys check them out as well if you're looking for your latest and up-to-date hip-hop artistry.
Side note, welcome back. I got this picture up here on my wall. This is my grandpa here with John Wayne. It was at a celebrity golf tournament. And it's funny because I guess my daughter likes his band. I don't know, it's got a really inappropriate type name, but she's playing them. And the name of the song is John Wayne. She's like, "Well, Daddy, I don't understand this song. Who's John Wayne?" And I was like, "Well, it could either be the guy in that Western movie with Jackie Chan, John Wayne, or it could be this guy here, that guy that's in the wall with your grandpa." And she's like, "Oh," and I was like, "Well, that's a great reference point." Sorry, I just came to mind as I saw it pop up there. ADHD is best. So part one, this is actually how it all started. Didn't start back on February 16th, right? The first thing that has to be understood, because if you start the story there, you're already missing everything that matters. It started a couple of years ago. It started with me showing up at the meetings, asking questions, filing public records requests under Ohio law, and trying to hold these public officials accountable for decisions that affect this community. Started trying to fix the roads. But it started with being ignored, being dismissed, being told no, being told wait, being told that the records didn't exist, still being told that, quite frankly, often. This started with conflict, not because I was looking for it, but because I refused to accept the answers that don't match the law or the record. Because I'm a know-it-all, an asshole, whatever you want to say. And by the way, if you're watching this right now, share it. Share it out. Share it with friends. Share it on sites. Again. Share it with everybody. Anybody that you think might be interested in knowing actually how this happened, since the Chronicle decided to report on it and really report on it one-sidedly. But over time, that builds. It builds frustration. It builds tension. It builds a relationship between a person who keeps asking questions in a system that does not want to answer them. And many of my questions aren't mine. Those of you that watch me and know, like many of you know, that's the situation. You're very well aware that you've sent me a lot of this stuff. In fact, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do it myself. Hmm. Sorry, be right back. I'm just sharing really quick. I have been officially restricted on sharing links, and I'm not sure if this is even going to go. Yep. See, I can't share it out. I got in the no box on my Facebook because one of the pages I share on a lot had some settings that I was unaware about, and I used a couple of curse words, I guess, either in the video, I think, and because it was in the video, it keyed it, and so basically said I can't share again until like Saturday links. I can still comment on some stuff, but I'm unable to comment on the page for a little while, and I'm unable to share links. So, oops, learn, live and learn. And it's just that one thing that I'm not allowed to do, which is kind of weird. Like it doesn't even show as a ban on my account until I try to actually share a link. So I can't share this podcast at all. It's just kind of frustrating. But anyway, the reason I say the whole thing about how it becomes personal the way whether anyone wants to admit it or not is, even though I don't want to admit that I don't display emotions or I don't know how to show them, doesn't mean I can't say I don't have them. I know there's a feeling there and I'm supposed to feel a certain sort of way, but I really don't. It's either black or it's white. It's either, that dog don't hunt or that dog hunts. It's either the pole standing upright or the pole's falling to the ground. I don't know how many more analogies I can come up with, But the problem is I sit around and go, whether anyone wants to admit it or not, it became personal because there are emails that exist, emails that I have that nobody wants to take the time to read, but it's where my name is being discussed. Emails where I'm not being described as a citizen or a journalist, but as a problem. And there's a language about complaints, right? About attacks and harassment, and this statement that Ray made a year ago or two. I lose track. He said to Mary Springowski that they were working on a legal pathway to deal with me. 2 years ago, working on a legal path to deal with me. Not deal with the particular incident. Not deal with the particular behavior. Deal with me as a person. Let that sink in. So when you watch that video and you think, well, that's where it begins, right? Aaron's being a jerk right there. No, it's not. That's where it surfaces. That is where everything that came before it shows up in one big ass moment that people can actually see. But that moment doesn't exist on its own. I know what it means. And many people said, if we didn't know, I hear this a lot too. If we didn't know the story, if we didn't know the backstory, you look like an uncrazy, unhinged lunatic. Okay, well, difference is I'm allowed to ask questions. I'm allowed to be excited. I didn't cause alarm. I didn't use words of fear or violence. I didn't do anything. Obviously, I wasn't so loud and volatile that anyone heard me because Garen didn't even know I had left the room. Say what you want, but he didn't. Because Ray closed the public door. Now, act like it was, they didn't go in an office. I didn't follow them into an office. I followed them out of the building or out of the hallway that I come out of as well. Every meeting, just about almost every meeting, I go out that sideways because that's the handicap ramp. And it's easier for me to walk up the ramp than it is to go up that hill of a thing after standing in the meeting for a couple of hours. So I go out the handicap ramp. Just so happened Ray was there. Did I want to ask him questions? Hell yeah. Am I allowed to? Hell yeah. That's the thing. It's a public forum. That's the only one that we're allowed to do it in. getting back to why did you wait till the end of the meeting to ask the questions? Because that's what Carissa did. That's what I did. Well, Aaron, maybe if you were nice, oh, I'm sorry. I guess, yeah, that's right. You have to kiss ass if you want to get the story, if you want to get anything. I've proven that doesn't work because my friends over at another news agency that I know of consistently, many other people consistently tell me they don't even get notified by local departments of the same notices that the Chronicle does. The Chronicle gets fed everything. And just like in this case, they were getting fed a story and Ray didn't want me to hear it. Well, you should have gone to a private area to have that conversation, not had it in a public forum right after a public meeting with a government, official is having the conversation. They're like, oh, he interrupted an interview. Look, I'd already asked my question. And there's no law that says don't interrupt. I have ADHD. I mean, dude, you arrested me for every time I interrupted, I'd be in prison, lifetime sentence, catching more years every single minute. Someone just shanked me because I don't shut up. I get it. That's why talk shows are good for me, or podcasts. But you can ignore a lot of things, but if you start ignoring the context that explains it all, you got a problem. You want to extend that, context, you got to go back to October 20th. That's the clearest example of how this has been handled, how the record's been shaped after the fact. So on October 20th, I attended a council meeting, followed the rules, spoke when I was supposed to speak, had my little time on the mic, all that good crap, right? I stayed within the structure that they set. I have Robert's rules. I know how it works. I've never been disruptive in council. Maybe during breaks, after they call it disruptive. No, I'm just being me. I know y'all don't like it, but there's no crime in being me. So I stayed within the structure. There was no citation. There was no enforcement action taken against me at all for violating any rule of the meeting. Something else happened that night that gets let out when, people talk about it. It gets left out, I should say. There's an interaction where Ray Carrion addresses me from the floor. Not from the podium, not from the chair, not through the chair, not through any formal process. He engages me directly. He raises his voice. The question comes from, it's clear. Did you say something? It's not a neutral question. That's not procedural. That's an engagement. And it's coming from the floor of the meeting. That's where this matters. And I don't even have to clip anything. I don't even have to go to a video to like bring that up for you to hear. All I have to do is go over here to my trusty little thing and look at this. Jesus, these glasses are dirty again. And play you this clip.
Out to all of our departments and assure that as part of our regular checklist that we have for many projects, that we can visit this. This is not a common area because we typically don't waive fees. So it's one of those areas that we'll revisit here as we move along.
Thank you, Mr. Carrion.
Say something? Then why are we? Say something? Then why are we? You want to get an attitude? You work for me, Carrion. Yeah, get it. Do it.
Mr. Knapp.
See, they always turn it on me now. Now suddenly it's Mr. Knapp. Mr. Knapp, it's my fault that Ray, from the floor of a meeting where he is supposed to be the public official in control, decided to yell at me. Now, again, I would get it if he had, when Tia Hilton came in and said, F you, Mr. Knapp, and all this stuff. She didn't say Mr. Knapp, actually. I think she called me some rather colorful words. I mean, honestly, give her what, you say what you want about her, but boy, when she believes something, she's vehement about it. Woo! She wanted me hard, and I didn't hear a word from the floor, not a person in there said a damn thing, right? They didn't say anything. They didn't care. They didn't care who said what. They didn't care who yelled from the floor. I know Jane and I and Paula and I talk, but they didn't, they asked them to leave, but they let them come back. They didn't give them a lifetime ban. They didn't give them a ban of unknown time frame from all municipal properties, which one could be construed to be my tree lawn, my street, I can't go to a park. My daughter was like, I went to the seesaw park the other day. You want to come with me? I'm surprised she still likes those things. But her and a friend go over and do that. I was like, I'm sorry, babe. I can't go to the park right now. Why not? Well, because Tim Williams said I can't go to the park. And then she said some colorful words. And I said, please don't curse. And why not? You're a father. Because Tim Williams doesn't want me to go because he believes that because I asked him hard questions of the safety service director and he slammed the door on my foot and then got in my face. To say what you want, I was moving towards the exit. I can keep walking. He had to turn around to come back at me. I wasn't doing anything to make him turn around. He was trying to instigate me because he knew exactly. I'd given him, listen, you guys think that every one of you has misjudged me, There's a story. I tell this story all the time about Briar Rabbit. Briar Rabbit was in one of the most politically incorrect cartoons ever, the Song of the South. Now, many of you may not know this one because Disney has banned it, and rightfully so. We watched it as kids in the 80s, gleefully ignorant of its racial connotations. But there is something good about it, and it wasn't Uncle Remus, but it was his stories. He talked about this Briar Rabbit. And Briar Rabbit was a rabbit, and he was an ornery rabbit, right? A little loud, a little boisterous. He ran around like, woo-wee. I'm Briar Rabbit, right? And yeah, is that a rabbit? I do think I have a rabbit. Hold on. Oh. Okay, since Darren always tunes in and is faithful, and he always asks for me to use my puppets. So, like, Briar Rabbit was literally out there doing his thing, and he gets captured by this big bad bear and a fox. And Briar Rabbit is over there, and he's like, he's listening to the fox and the bear sit there on the edge of this cliff. And on one side of the cliff is this big bramble of thorns and thickets. It's pokey. It's gonna cut you up. Like, it's called, the briar patch. The briar patch cuts people up like nobody wants to be in the briar patch. So Briar Rabbit gets caught by these two guys, and they're arguing over what they should do with him. Like, what you think we should do with him? He's like, I don't know. Like they're back and forth. Should we cook him? We could eat him. Now Briar Rabbit's over there, and he's just like, woo-wee! Like, do whatever you want. Just don't throw me in that briar patch. You can cook me. You can beat me. You can skin me. You can do whatever you want to me. Just don't throw me in that briar patch. Well, them two get to cranking around in their head, and they're like, they come up with a good idea, right? They're like, hey, briar patch, gotta go in there. This fool gets thrown in there, and he's like, oh, no, I'm dying. Why? And he pops his head back up, and he's like, woo, what a bunch of idiots. I was born and bred in the briar patch, hence the name Briar Rabbit. And again, they threw him into the one place that they thought he didn't want to be because he kept saying, well, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. No, that's enough of you. That was for you, Garrett. That's the foible, right? The little tale. They say sometimes people ask exactly for what they want. And that's why it matters in this situation is that I understand the way that they react. I see how they react. I'm shocked that they were going to take this step at this stage of the game. But I'm not going to give in to them. And as Briar Rabbit would say, don't throw me in the briar patch. I told them, just like I told Lee Prue, I gave them the steps to do what they were going to do to themselves. I just provide lesson day. You can choose to not take lesson day. That's on you. I can't make Ray act like an a-hole any more than they can make me. Well, I mean, I guess they kind of can. They can trigger me and I'll react a certain way, but they all thought I was going to hit somebody. Now, in all of the time that they've dealt with me, no one's ever said I hit people. They've tried to say it. If you even watch that thing, you don't even look and think Aaron's a boxer. I'm not out there punching people. I don't hurt people anymore. Not going to, not able to. So there's never going to be that fear from me. This is my weapon. This is my weapon, not these. So this whole place has taught me some lessons. Again, I was fraying a little on the PTSD when it came to reacting, because everywhere else I've been, especially in Idaho, people were respectful. They kept, even in California, people didn't touch you all the time. They kept their, it wasn't 6 feet, but it was arm's length. Not in Ohio. You guys think it's okay to touch people all the time? If someone doesn't do exactly what you think you're supposed to do in an establishment that you go to on the regular, suddenly you're the de facto bouncer. You're going to grab somebody. You're going to punish them. You're going to do what you're going to do. Well, the only thing I get a choice in is on what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to react to you. I'm not going to react to Ray. Ray has a wife, a family. He's not going to hit. Well, I would hope he wouldn't hit me. I mean, I'll admit, I kind of thought he might in the moment, but I did what I do. I've told them, no matter what, in my PTSD, I will freeze. I may say things, get loud, but if you come at me, and I've told them on mic, in meetings, in writing, I give them notice. I've had a lawyer that have done everything. All I ask is you not do these things. He did them all, almost, in one quick, swift moment. Shut that door on me, boom. Everyone's, you put your foot in the door. Well, no, I put my foot to stop the door. Had I not stopped the door, it would have hit me. Now, my right side has nerve damage. They know that. My right arm has nerve damage, but I'm right-handed. I couldn't use my hand to stop it. That's a public doorway, an exit, if you will. Everybody exits out of that door or the other door. Not like he was in Brianna's office. Tony DeMacchia is standing there. The news reporter, Chris White Talk, is standing there. I'm walking into the doorway. Yeah, I was asking some questions that maybe he didn't like. Excuse me, why would you I said it you hear it on the video. Why would you ask, you're going to answer her questions, but not mine. I mean, it's a fair ask after you walked right past me and blew me off. But all right. He knows exactly how to trigger me. And he tried, but he didn't. He didn't win. He's smiling in that video picture. He just glaring away, smiling at me. Just whatever. He literally he literally set down his bag to come shut the door on me. Like it's funny because, well, it's not funny. Here he is, right? He's talking away, chit chat, talking to Carissa. Great haircut, right? She's got a little pen in her hand. She's chatting away, and yeah, I'm asking, why are you asking? I ask questions. Why are you answering? Ray's here. He's got his coat in his hand, and he's got his bag in his hand. And then we move over to, I think, is it this one? No, that's that's the one where we got really close. There's another one where I can see up his nose. He sets his bag down right here. I'm in the door. I'm close enough to be at the doorway, right? This is my chest camera because it's in color. The darker black and white shots are in black and white because they're my body cam. So he sets his bag down with the jacket in hand. And then, it leads to him coming over and shutting the door on me. And that was this. So,
Have one.
No. Well, we're going to get to that. But, well, what the heck? Let's just play it now.
All the stuff you guys got, like I said, I keep telling everybody, keep sending me your stories. Anything you guys got going on out here?
I just made history, so
We're gonna play this without sound. Okay. I'm gonna take me off the screen here for a minute. I want to play this without sound, without hearing anything, and just see what it looks like that way, maybe. I'm gonna bring it big. I don't know if you can see it big, but wow, You know what? I should run. No, I can't run it like this because then I don't see the tools. He was sharing some really interesting information with me. I hope he actually emails me. He was talking about his history and how he was able to trace his family back to the original plantation he was on. But I digress. There's Ray, there's Carissa. I'd already been asking if I could get an answer, but they decided to walk around there. You see my face, right? This is the body cam. It's kind of up. Sure, we can, not going to listen to the thing. Now I'm walking up, right? Oh, you're going to, oh, I see how it is. Okay, I see, right? So I'm walking up. 1, 2, 3, right? Here, I'm in the doorway, right here, boom, right? Okay, you say what you want. I'm in the doorway. He slams the door on me. I'm already in the doorway. Now, my chest camera made it look different because all you saw was the pad going up. Now, I shared the chest camera because it was live. I hadn't shared this because I hadn't downloaded it. And once I downloaded it, I realized what it showed. It showed the other angle. One angle is this angle. One angle is here. And here is broad. So, again, he hits me with the door right here. That's assault number 1. Okay. I had to put my boot there to stop it because otherwise the door hits me. Look at the trajectory of me and the door. The door closes this way, right? I'm coming through the doorway and I'm halfway in the door when the door is being shut on me. Now you look at him. Tell me, is that the face of a happy man? You start to see him right here. He's already set his stuff down, right? I'm asking the question. See, he's got his bag. There's carry on. And if you do listen to the audio, it's like, oh, Ray. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Like they had to say that to him last time. Ray. He lets his whatever anger get the better of him. I get it. I'm annoying. Doesn't change the fact you're a government official. So yeah, you can see the real time. My body cam time is off. Gotta fix that. It says it's 11. But look, right here. Here he is in the corner. Right there. He's up on me. I'm still in the doorway. So you guys are like, well, he didn't know. What reason does any reasonable man have to get in another man's space that close? You tell me, okay, any one of you men out there that go online and say, oh, you're crazy, you're a lunatic, that you'd be okay with this. You're okay with the man clearing 3-4 feet aggressively, grabbing a door, slamming it on you. You have to use your foot to keep it from slamming into your injured side. Then he gets in your face. But I get it. You guys would be just freaking fine with that, right? No problem. No issue. Got it. Good. Right? Like I said in the video. Oh, no comment? Good. Got it. Yeah. Gotcha. No, you wouldn't be. And if you say you would be, you're full of shit. So let's let it play. This again, the upper angle. Now, there's conversation going on, sure. Right here, again. Whoa, hey. So you tell me. Right here. So I'm standing here. This is after Carrion is separated from me by Mr. Damaki. Just no volume. You don't hear any talking. How would you feel right here? How many of you wouldn't have laid a motherfucker out? Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So what did I do? Wrong right there. Look, there's the other one. Wow. Some big old pupils. Then again, kind of sore is. It must be the. Oh, it's the night vision. I mean, look at that. Look, it was one thing when he slammed the door on me. I didn't expect this. Oof. Look at that. You tell me that's not friggin' psycho. You guys call me crazy? Stop instigating. That's like when the cops go, stop resisting. Stop. Get the fuck out of here. Now look how far ahead of me they are, right? So I'm not doing anything wrong. I kept my far distance. And it right here, he's going to straight, like, now I'm talking with the Machia. There's a shot of them leaving down there. Him and Carissa, the two lovebirds, leave together. And now I deal with fouling, which is equally and woefully disappointing. I'm not going to go through all of that because why? He says no. He doesn't take reports. Well, by ORC, he does. When I told him he violated his oath, he gave me a foul. I like fouling. I get it. I put him in a difficult spot, but he's the only one there. And while he may not say he's there to watch over counsel. They always have an officer there. They've always had one there since the whole, all the other meltdowns they've had in there from people. Now, mind you, this is after the meeting. Let's just, honestly, I've watched this video like once because I've been busy. All right. So I'm really detail watching this for the first time. And I knew from my chest camera what it looked like. Did not know what it looked like from this body cam angle. And I downloaded it and I hadn't really fully looked at it. And no, Garen, I haven't downloaded yours yet, but oof. I mean, look at this. Just walking, gonna get a door shut on me. No, back. Oh, no. You can't use the exit. Ray. Oh, no, it's Mr. Bill. Now, we'll watch as the elusive carry on. Tries to get away, but we're gonna get him and video him. We're going to have words. Whoa, look out. Oh, crikey. It's a carry-on. He's going to get you, mate. He's going to eat you. Oh, look at him. He's smiling. Ha, I got you now. Crikey. Now we can ban you from City Hall and all municipal properties. Now suddenly I became SpongeBob, Mr. Cracks. SpongeBob, me boyo. Now you're banned from all municipal properties. So get in the back and make some more Krabby Patties before I beat you with your spatula. I mean, that's crazy, folks. Like, you tell me. Again, no video, no audio, without my loud-ass voice. Yeah, I get it. I'm loud. I didn't do that. Oh, they're investigating? He's still in office? Oh, he is the guy that's supposed to make me feel safe and secure in that building. There you go, though.
Answer her questions? You're going to answer her questions, but not mine? Don't start doors on me. Yeah, leave it alone, Ray. Come on, man. Don't be a jerk. No, he's my public servant. I don't care. This is no. You are my public servant. You are my public servant. You are my public servant. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, sir. Yes, you are. Oh, he wouldn't answer my question. No, I'm not instigating anything, sir. Yeah, go. I'll follow you. I don't care.
You ain't gonna follow me.
Yeah, I will.
Go ahead and follow me.
I'll follow you.
Hey.
Follow you.
Go ahead and follow me.
I will.
Hey.
Aaron, step
You're calling
away.
me.
You're stepping in
Why
my
are you
face.
following
You guys
him?
talk about
I can
my
follow him more than I
smile.
want to. He's my government official. No.
Step away.
No,
from
man,
him.
look at him.
Why are you trying to?
Look at him. He's coming
Step
at me.
away.
Yeah, you are. You coming at me. It's all on video. Keep getting aggressive.
I mean, seriously, okay, in what world did I come at him? I literally took 2 or 3 steps forward. I have to go out that way anyway. Sure, did I say I was going to follow him out? Sure. As we'll see later in a clip, Valline and Morris actually said that was the appropriate thing to do, is stand outside and make your comments outside. Inside, every comment I made to him was polite. Did it sound elevated? Sure, but I'll sound elevated all the time. Like, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. Yeah, you do. No, you don't. Yeah, you do. This is how I sound, right? Like, I'm not yelling. I tell people, like, the day in question where see, this is the problem. They try to set you up. So with the Bradley thing, if you watch the body cam footage, he said, I said, do you want me to show you what my yelling sounds like? He's like, sure, go ahead. And then I do it. And then they get mad at me. And then the video comes down, like, people come out like, look, I'm not trying to disrupt, but you're saying one thing about me that's not true. You're not taking into account any of the disabilities that I've told you about for a couple of years. And whether you like it or not, you guys can call me a baby or whatever. It is my disability. It is my right. That is a building. And, there's other people who won't go in and do these things because of this behavior. I'm an advocate for them. That's why I go in that building. That's why I ask these questions. That's why I keep asking the hard questions. These aren't my questions, folks. Think about it. How did a guy that's lived here 5 years learn to ask all these questions about all these people? How did he find out all this stuff about all these people? You think it's me? No. They found some jackass like me who's willing to just go online, go on the air, and give you the truth. Right? 111. That's why this matters here and now, guys. Like, the rules that they rely on to control speech in that room are the same rules they expect the public to follow. Those rules require you to go to the podium to be recognized. They require you to speak in your turn. They're very clear about that when they enforce them against citizens. But when the same structure is not followed by someone on their side, like Ray, when an official engages directly from the floor, raising their voice, that becomes part of the record too. That part of the record actually matters because, well, it shows the interaction and how it was initiated and how it was allowed to escalate. Now, it also matters because the city later describes that incident when it becomes part of the narrative, the disruption of behavior, right? They say it gets it, what gets included and what gets left out is not neutral. The focus is placed on what I said. The context on how that interaction began, who initiated it, and how it unfolded is minimized or omitted. And we're now months removed from that incident, and there's still no clear resolution. No determination from the city about whether that conduct from their own official, Ray Carry-On, violated the same rules they enforce against other people of the public. They charged Garen Petty for a crime for that same thing. Only he didn't do it during a meeting, he did it after. Again, as I was trying to ask questions peacefully. They'll try to charge me as they did Garen, and they'll think that they're going to have me go through and that my wife's going to convince me that, and maybe my heart, because I do feel a little bad, like I don't want to deal with it. Maybe they convince me to take a plea deal. That's not going to happen with me. I will take you all the way to the Supreme Court. If you honestly believe that I'm not the one, this is what it's been all set up for, obviously, because you guys are stupid and you keep doing the same thing. But you did nothing when Ray did it last time. You said nothing. The rules tell you, tell me, tell everybody that the public in the audience doesn't matter. Unless I was saying something disturbing the peace, which I wasn't. I was asking Garen jokingly, why are we? About the payment structure. That's it. Why are we? Why are we? Why are we? You don't do it any other time. You're not going to waive Joe Schmo's stuff. Like, I don't get my stuff waived. But I get it. All right. But it was never meant to be a direct question to Ray. I wasn't trying to question Ray. I didn't even realize how loud I sounded on my own body cam until I heard myself. It was my phone at the time that I just sat up there. I get it. I'm loud. I'm sorry. Jane's emotional when she gets up and speaks. No one yells at her for that. When Amber talks about her mom, she gets emotional. No one gets mad at her for that. other people come in, they get emotional. Other people that have been here forever get emotional and say what they feel and say how they feel it. Tia Hilton comes up, cusses, screams, hollers, MFers everybody, MFers me, an audience member, and nothing happens. Aaron asks a question and, 5 fucking alarms shut that shit down. Funny thing is, they didn't arrest me. They didn't do anything because they knew they couldn't. They waited till the next day to concoct a plan because that's what they've been waiting to do since 24 on those emails to Mary where he says, we're looking on a way. It's just taking them a couple of years to get there, to goad me into it. Goad me into what? You can't goad a man into nothing, can you? They thought they goaded me into something, but it didn't work out that way. I honestly believe he thought that when he stepped up, I'd do something stupid. I mean, let me just ask you this. I can't always tell how many people are watching at any one given time, and I don't know who's going to watch later. But I'll say this much. What man watching this, or even in some cases, what woman wouldn't take these kind of behaviors, right? With no volume. Just the behaviors. I got my pad in my hand.
Reach out, hey, send me all the stuff you guys got. Like I
I mean,
said, I keep telling everybody, keep sending me your stuff.
I'm having a normal conversation with this guy. Yeah, I get a little flourish, a little comedic flourish going, but you just can't. You can't explain away that I'm in the doorway. I was in the door, right there, in the door. You hear the door. If I play the audio like on that camera version down here, you hear the of the door hitting me. Say what you want. Right there is assault number 1. Ew, gross. I need to go to the gym. Look at that. Anyway, that's assault number 1. Look, see, who am I going to hit? This whole right side is nerve damage. Look at that. But I was aggressive. Look, whoa. Even right now, I want to jump back every time he freaking comes at me.
I will.
Go ahead and follow me.
I'll follow you.
Hey,
Follow you.
Go ahead and follow me.
I will.
Hey. Aaron.
Follow you. You wouldn't answer my question. No, I'm not instigating anything, sir. Yeah, go. I'll follow you. I don't care.
You ain't gonna follow me.
Yeah, I will.
Go ahead and follow me.
I'll follow you.
Hey.
Follow you.
Go ahead and follow me.
I will.
Hey. Aaron, step away,
you-
please.
You're
Don't
stepping up
touch
in
Why
my
are you
face.
following
Don't touch me.
him?
I can follow him wherever I want to. He's my government official. No.
Step away.
No,
from
man,
him.
look at him.
Why are you trying to?
Look at him. He's coming in.
He says he's not coming at me. Again, that's like, stop resisting. Stop resisting. Stop resisting. Give me a break. You're coming at me, right? You know it. I know it. You can act like you were. It's no different than, any other time that you were upset and doing what you were doing. And thank you, Freedom, Liberty. I appreciate you. And so, I can't talk to you. I can't have a discussion with you now. I can't do anything with you now. We're going to have to we're going to have to end up with you getting so close to me that it becomes this. Again. So if I'm the aggressor, why is he pushing him back? Again, if I'm the aggressor, why did he have to set his bag down to come close a door on me? And look, you notice what looks like is open behind him? That looks like the clerk's office. If you wanted to have a private interview, you could have easily gone in there and had a conversation with the clerk's office. They could have closed that door. There's no way I could have come in there. That office is not open to the public after hours. I would have had no right to go into that office right there. I'm just noticing that as we're reviewing it together. He takes her in there. Off limits. I can't go knocking on the door. Because I'm not knocking on heaven's door. Oh, that's not heaven's door. Because I'm not knocking on the clerk's door. Hey, 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 hey. Or I'm not knocking on the clerk's door. Because Maggie might get mad at me. Oh, sorry. there's fucking carry on. I'm sorry, Aaron. Trying to teach kids, trying to teach your friend you care about deeply not to curse. You gotta be better about yourself. There's carry on, and he's setting down his bag. He has to set his bag down. He has a pretty good sized bag, to come slam a door on me. A guy who he knows exactly how to trigger. He knows exactly whether he's paid attention to. Okay, touche. I'm gonna say this out loud. Maybe in the grand scheme of things, he doesn't read it. He doesn't care. So if he doesn't read it, then he wouldn't know. Maybe I'm just putting too much, But it's not like I haven't sent them to them a couple of different times, and somebody else and my lawyer have all advocated for me and for them to not do that, and they continue to do it. I said, don't get in my face. You're going to get me yelling or reacting a certain way. I said, I'll never become violent, as I've always said to everybody. I mean, look at that. Is that the face of freaking... He's mad. Look, there's... I think that's a security guard in the back. But, I mean, if you look at it in sequence, there she is talking. That's when he comes up to me. That's how close he is to me. That camera is the one that's on my chest. So that's the one that's why I caught him. That's where he's, chest bumping me. You tell me, that's where he's putting it down, again. That's where Demaki is trying to separate us. I don't view this any other way. But hey, you look at this in the context of who initiated it, how it unfolded. It was minimized, omitted. They didn't do anything in the case with the carry-on stuff initially. So now we fast forward to 4 or 5 months later, and this happens. And they banned me from City Hall to de-escalate. Well, you could de-escalate by taking your employee who assaulted me not once, but twice, after I'd reported him for disrupting a public meeting and disturbing my peace, and giving the city notice and asking the city and begging the city to control their safety service director and ask him not to act that way. All you had to do was answer the question, guys. I know you don't like me because I'm suing you, because I'm doing this, because I'm doing that, but that doesn't mean you don't have to still act as my government. So you haven't been. And when you look at this alongside everything else, the emails, the discussions about me, the framing of me as the problem to be dealt with, you start to see that pattern. You start to see this not about one night, not about one reaction. It's about a relationship that has developed over time, where my presence, my questions, and my persistence have been treated as something that needs to be, managed, exterminated. As Ray would say, find legal options to deal with me. Legal avenues. That's the word he used. Avenues. That's a legal avenue for you there, Ray. Actually, sorry. We're going to add, remove. So you're not just watching something that came out of nowhere when you see that video of me talking to him. He already kind of has intimidated me on a couple of occasions, trying to at least. And anxiety, PTSD, yeah, you worry about how you're going to react to somebody. So that's why it seems like you're scared in the moment, or you're dealing with something you're not. You're watching the continuation of something that's been building, it's been documented, and in some cases planned long before that moment ever happened, right? They wanted me out. I'll bring you to our second part here. We're from October 20th to February 16th. That escalation actually happens. Like, if you're going to understand February 16th, you can't look at it as a single moment. You have to understand how escalation happens, and more importantly, how it's allowed to escalate and who is punished when things escalate. Because those two are very different standards in this city, and I'm living inside that difference right now. And to be clear, this is not just about speech or tone. This is also about disability, notice, and how that information has been handled once the city had it. Really quick, I'm going to pause this, and I'm going to play a quick ad just so I can go grab another drink. But I don't have my City Hall ad up. So I'm going to put this up, but I'm going to play my City Hall promo, because no matter what is happening to me, you guys still need to go to the City Hall. I also have a little scroll down here. Email the mayor, the safety service director, the assistant safety service director, and demand immediate removal of the city ban, of the city hall ban, and the ban. It's unreasonable. It's all municipal properties. Give me a freaking break. Garen, you should post a couple of emails of these people that I just referred to that are going across the bottom scroll for me. But yeah, let me just put this up real quick, and then I'll be right back. I just gotta grab something. Should probably grab a water instead of a Red Bull. I'll be right back.
Asking, I'm in a public area, bro.
Pretty soon what he's going to do is he's going to say that he can't continue with the meeting because you won't exit.
And that's not my
chambers.
problem. You work for me.
I don't work for you.
You do work for me. I pay taxes. You work for the city of Lorraine. No, there's no agree to disagree, Mayor. Mayor, there's no agree to disagree.
And what they're going to do is they'll just close the meeting.
Down to all of our departments and assure that as part of our regular checklist that we have for many projects, that we can visit this. This is not a common area because we typically don't waive fees. So it's one of those areas that we'll revisit here as we move along.
Thank you, Mr. Carrion.
Say something? Then why aren't we? Say something? Then why are we? You want to get an attitude? You work for me, Carry On. Yeah, get it. Do it.
Mr. Knapp, let's.
All right, appreciate that. You were here at the beginning, you saw I put this bad boy in, hoping that it'll stop that ringing. I am partially deaf. Not so much that I can't hear, that I need sign language or anything like that, but it does make me talk a little bit louder. You know, it was an explosion that made it ring, and just like sometimes it feels like it's always ringing. Sorry, my bad. I didn't realize how. I do it to my daughter. I tell her like, shh, but then I don't do it, and I try to say, Aaron, it just comes out this way. Like I have to force myself to talk like this, and it's kind of painful, to be honest, because this is just how I talk. And if I'm doing it the other way, I have to actually breathe less. It's probably because I had my nose broke too when I was younger in a biking accident. Didn't get it fixed till later. And once it got fixed, I don't even remember how to breathe. But all this stuff's documented. The hearing issue. That's why I'm loud. City had my VA disability paperwork. I was nice enough to send it to them. I'm not legally required to give them my disability paperwork. But for the sake of disclosure, I gave them the whole thing, the whole checklist, every last thing that I have. Thank God I don't got freaking, chlamydia or gonorrhea, because they'd have known about that. And you got a disability for gonorrhea, I see. Well, it's not really never mind. Don't even go down that road here. Just it shows my neck disability, all my service-connected disabilities, the nerve damage, the hearing loss. I'm not saying that I asked them to tiptoe around me. All I asked them not to do was don't yell at me and don't rush up on me and get aggressive with me. I mean, because of the whole swanger thing. And what did Carry On do? I feel like I was being pretty reasonable. The whole meeting, during the meeting, I said nothing. I got up when it was my turn. I spoke on something that I thought I wanted to speak on, that I thought was good. And then afterwards, I did my media job, which, again, I'm live streaming the whole meeting for him. Now here we are. Afterwards, I'm trying to ask a legitimate question on a legitimate story I'm going to write, because again, I'm trying to, for once, throw him a bone and write something good, because you can't live on bad stories all the time, even though that seems to be all they throw out. But whatever, they've been given direct notice. They were on notice. They'd been on notice for over almost 2 years, and how I respond to situations where I feel overwhelmed or threatened. How my voice can change as a defensive response. I told them straight up, it wasn't hid from them. I disclosed it. So when you look at October 20th, you have to look at it through that lens. So during the meeting, I followed the rules. I spoke when I was supposed to, did my thing, right? Within the structure they require. But at one point, I did turn to Garen and I did say, as you hear on there, then why are we? Now, I went, why are we? Well, again, Jesus, not even thinking about it. That you think when you're turning to somebody and going, why are we? That you're covering your voice, but I guess why are we? Why are we? In hindsight, it probably made it louder. But I wasn't thinking that at the time. I just turned to Garen, who's not there very often. Boy, Garen, I was going to point out, the only 2 times bad things have happened to me at the meetings has been when you've been Anyway, I said, why are we? It wasn't his fault, but look, now I hear it now. God, I hear it now. Why are we? 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 Jesus Christ. That's why it sounded louder when I said it to him. All right, Aaron. Everybody can be taught. Some things are common sense, right? Yodel, he who. So we talk about this. It wasn't directed at counsel. It wasn't directed at Ray. I wasn't expecting him to respond or shout across the room back. It was a side comment. It was controlled. It was supposed to be contained. It was directed to the person sitting next to me. And Garen didn't respond, folks. Not a word. That's not what became the focus, but what became the focus was when Ray Carrion engaged. Not through the chair as he's supposed to in Robert's rules. He didn't even hold the floor anymore because he'd handed it back, and you clearly hear Don in the background going, thank you, Mr. Carrion. You know, so his time on the floor was over. He didn't even hold the mic. He starts yelling at me from the floor. The rules, when you read the rules, the ORC, Robert's rules, if you're in the audience, you don't matter. You're nothing. You're not pertinent to the story. You're not pertinent to anything. You're nobody unless you disrupt the meeting in a way. And 1 or 2 words is not disrupting the meeting. Why are we is not disrupting the meeting. Not when Tia Hilton and others have been allowed to come in there and F-bomb the crap out of your meetings. And I did not cuss. Never gotten on that mic and cursed. I've always been respectful. If I've been hard and firm, yes. But that's the thing, guys. You have to be that way when you're dealing with your, children. And that's the way the previous council acted. So I was hard and firm as I would be with my daughter. I said, listen, you can't act that way. Doesn't mean I don't care. I mean, sometimes you guys need a naysayer like me to realize somebody needs to balance it out. You guys are busy patting each other on the back so much that you're going to dislocate a shoulder. The ass kissery that goes on there, I just want to point out, one of you will point out how the other one's done great, and then the other one will point out how the other one's done great. I mean, you guys are the epitome of politicians. Do you realize how much of a jackass you sound like when you pat each other on the back? Like a bunch of lemmings patting each other on the back for jumping off a cliff? Yeah, good job, good job, good job, good job, good job. Sploosh. Each time you do it, it looks bad. But he says to me, did you say something? He didn't ask it once, right? I wouldn't have responded. He said, did you say something? Did you say something? I already told if you yell at me like that, I'm gonna answer you eventually. It's looking right at me. What? Look, y'all watching whatever, you know me enough to know if you yell something at me, do you not? I mean, that's probably why y'all say, maybe you should just shut up. You get your ass kicked, whatever. Well, I guess that's the way you guys handle things here in Lorraine is what I've been taught. What I've been taught is everywhere I go, if I say something someone doesn't like, they're going to physically assault me. They're going to grab me. They're going to try to harm me. They're going to beat their truth into me. They're going to tell me what's what, right? And then when it doesn't work for them, they're going to insult me. Like Antonio Baez, everybody thought he's a fucking angel. But then he goes out and, Aaron, you're not allowed to stop using that word. Everyone thinks that he is a fracking angel. And the problem is that maybe he's a great police officer, but he's Ray's buddy. He was holding office illegally. They got mad that I got rid of him. Say what you want. I have a long history with them. That's back when they started wanting to get rid of me, too. Got rid of his buddy. So then they brought his other buddy back in, and they were happy that he won. Honestly, I was happy he won. I don't really want that job. But I would do it because the people would, if they had voted for me, I would have done it. If you vote me into an office, like let's say for whatever reason you decide you don't like anybody running for mayor and you all wrote me in and you learned how to spell my name right. I'm not saying I wouldn't take the job. I'm just saying I don't have a desire to be in positions of power. But you can see it, you can hear it each time when he says it with that increasing volume. Did you say something, right? Again, you go back to the way he treated me in the hallway. He's very aggressive to me because he's looking to instigate me. He's looking to create that thing that he promised Mary. We're going to find a legal avenue to get rid of him and his complaints. And he identified me as George Patton. The email's there. It's on my page. I posted it. He literally said, we're going to get rid of George Patton. We're going to get rid of Aaron Knapp. Yeah, it ended up in the paper. They put it in the newspaper, although someone reported to me that they're having difficulty finding it on the Chronicles page because I complained to the Cleveland Press Club, which I'm a member, as well as a bunch of other media outlets, saying, hey guys, like, look, you guys are supporting them dashing the First Amendment. But you hear that the first time, the tone is there, and Ray he didn't really hold the floor at that point. Actually, he had it, and just at that moment, Arredondo got it back. The rules don't work that way. The public is told when to go to the podium, to wait to be recognized, to speak for 2 minutes, and then they sit down. That's all we get. They don't answer. That's the other side of this. That's the standard. It's enforced. But in that moment, the standard didn't apply to Ray. He didn't need recognition. He didn't need a podium. He was allowed to engage me directly, repeatedly, and with increasing volume. Now it matters because it shows that the conduct was not only allowed, it was affirmed. And it was accepted as appropriate behavior in that room. So, what I tell my attorney all the time, and he's like, I would, God bless him. God bless everyone for trying. Rosenbaum tried. He's emailing me, and I'm just like, dude, shush. I didn't even, yeah, sure. You badmouthed my media brand. I'm going to defend it. Am I kind of a jerk to him? Yeah, because I don't like what he did to someone I care about's mom. Sorry. I kind of really enjoy that person's company. And when I see what was stolen from her, I see that hole in her life, and it just bothers me to see somebody that had something stolen from them. He'll never apologize. And he represented them later. I mean, you're talking about ethics. This guy wants to talk to me about unethical. Dude, you represented the people. Really? Like, don't even. But I've seen that I told Bob many a times, they show me what's acceptable. I'm only doing what everyone else says that they can do. We call it mirroring in therapy, but I'm showing you what you do. So Ray's allowed to yell at me from the floor in elevating terms. Did you say something? Did you say something? I'm not allowed to go, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Or yes, you are my servant. 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 So I can't say that all in one time, but he can elevate multiple times. He can do it during an ongoing meeting, interrupt the meeting, interrupt the president who holds the floor. And I just respond. I get yelled at. But then he goes, after the meeting, and I'm talking to him, he gets in my face. And again, you've seen the video clips. How do you explain that wasn't aggressive? Any one of you would have taken that as a punchable moment, probably. I don't do that. I just stood there and smiled back as he creepily smiled at me like he was Jeffrey Dahmer and he was about to have me. Is that the guy that ate people? Like, eat me for lunch? Like, that was a creepy look. I mean, who gets up in someone's face like that, right? Who gets so close to someone and does that? Look at that. Just imagine someone so close to you, so freaking close that, that's your chest. He says, I came out. You guys can see I wasn't moving forward yet. I was saying I can follow you. He spins around aggressively. Yeah, he did. I mean, oh, that the short human with the backpack is the other reporter. That's why I had the every right to walk up under what he did initially was First Amendment discrimination. It's viewpoint discrimination. He won't talk to me, but he'll talk to another reporter on scene. That's why I said when you look at the video, but if you look at this again, this is the most telling thing ever. I'm in the doorway, right? That's them. That's my chest camera. Right before it all goes down, and he shuts the door on me because I was in the doorway. You see Carrie on there, but look behind. Again, I said it earlier. Look behind him. There's an open office. If he goes in there and shuts that door, I have zero access. I can't go back there. That's a restricted area after hours. They could literally bust me for going in that area after hours. I would never walk back there without being invited into that office after 4:30, 5 o'clock, whenever they close. That's the clerk's office, and that's I think the waiting lobby of the clerk's office. I think. I mean, that's where that mirror's at. I mean, the little mirror's at. I'm pretty sure that's what this is. Go in an office and shut the door if you want to be private. But if you're in a public hallway that I've got to walk up and out of anyway, so what I said? You already slammed a door on my foot. Then you chest bumped me. And then you tried to tell me what to do. And I've told people many a times I don't respond well to commands from people grown-ass people who think they can command other grown-ass people who aren't public servants. So this grown-ass man tells me you're not going to follow me. Well, I kind of got to. It's like, have you guys seen those memes where the lady's walking and she's like, oh my God, guys. Oh my God. I think this guy is following me. Like, I think he's following me. He must be following me. Set his bag down. He's like, I'm putting his gloves on, right? And then the guy's like, yeah, of course I'm following you, you dumbass. We're going to the same freaking car lot. Or, yeah, we're going to the bus stop. Or, what? We were going the same direction. I was already triggered. I'd already had a door slammed on my foot. I'd already been chest bumped. While you hear it, I've got my camera. You hear that of the impact. They can say what they want about anything else. Words that aren't fighting words don't equal the right for him to touch me or hit me with a door. Especially not when I put the city on notice of my disability. Especially not when I had previously reported 4 months ago that he had gotten what I felt to be aggressive and counseled. You listen to the way he spoke that night. You hear it in his voice. I get it. Sure, I sound a certain way, right? Like I got high pitch. I'm like, but I'm never aggressive. I'm not gonna hurt anybody. But Ray, bro, like I see a side of you that just, you guys call me unhinged, right? But
no, your point is addressing me, sir. No.
I mean, it's just that's the end of it. Because I didn't play that clip to the end, but you talk about the way he attacked me. It's just insane, verbally. So what would I think when he got in my face there? Like, they wanted me to react. I get it. The second I touch him, then they have a reason, right? But instead, what it looked like was that camera thing at Ohio State. Tony touched me, and literally, so Ray gets so close to me that I can smell his breath. And then Tony cuts in between the two of us, and you see it in the video, and I don't put this one up very much. No, not that one. Was it? No. Yeah. All right, so look. You tell me what you want. Tony's pushing us apart here. That's Carry On in front. He doesn't look very happy. And then that's Tony. Tony's right. I'm not under any obligation to retreat in Ohio, right? That's the law. Pretty sure it's stand your ground law. Not that I'm doing something to someone, but I have zero obligation to retreat. And so it just becomes No, Tony saved the city from a big ass lawsuit. But if he had, great. People keep saying online I like being beat up, so I guess that's my thing, right? Pay me if you want me to go away, I guess at this point. I don't have a reason to stop. Give me enough money to live happily ever after, pay off my Harley, maybe help out a couple of my friends, settle my lawsuits, settle my friends', lawsuits, pay out what you need to pay out because you guys know you screwed up. Say you're sorry to Maurice for what you did. Investigate, the judge, Mihawk, for what he did. Do the right thing for once. Be honest people. Be honest politicians. Tony, you say you care about this. Everybody wants to talk about it, but nobody wants to talk about it. But, look, I talk about Otero and the age thing there and him working there while she went there. You look at Tony. His wife was a student while he worked there. And they say what they want. He was communications director at one point. And they can say what they want about nepotism and not being nepotistic and not having anything to do with the hiring or the firing or anything. But if you look at, I have Tony DeMacchia's personnel file from the Lorraine City School District. His only reference is Jeff Graham. It's his only reference. Now, I'm not saying that got him the job, but if I'm a hiring manager, my boss signs up as a reference. And I call up and I go, hey, so I got this Tony Demetria guy in my office. Demacchia. So, application asked for 3 references, right? And he only listed you. But well, yeah, sir, I get it, but policy, right? And we got, I guess, if you say, I suppose we can make an exception in this case. Would you be willing to put that in right? Hello, sir? And again, people don't talk about why he left brothers and sisters or whatever, big brothers. So you're looking at all this stuff. Now, so when people go back to the record and they look, they see my voice, my reaction, my tone. They also have to look at what led to the moment, because it wasn't silence. It wasn't neutrality. It was the escalation coming from the floor that directed me in that moment, in a setting where I'd already disclosed that I have hearing issues and processing challenges. After that, I did what I was supposed to do. I filed a police report with the police. AJ Mathewson, he was present. The incident was known. The interaction was documented. I did not go online and complain. I did not just talk about it. I used the system that's supposed to exist for that very purpose. That Red Bull. And then nothing happened. I think it's been almost 5 months now with no clear determination, no resolution, no acknowledgement of whether that conduct from an official violated any rule, any policy, or any law. The same system that can move so quickly when it's a citizen like Garen Petty suddenly, or James Mauricio, suddenly slows down when it's one of their own. And then February 16th comes along. There's songs about this 14th of February, but the 16th of February will never be the same, 'cause city council's lame and carry on's the same. And Demacchia, well, anyway, we're not talking about that. Well, now we're talking about raised voices, right? We're not talking about that. We're not talking about who spoke from where. We're talking about physical contact. We're talking about a situation after the meeting was over, not during comment, not during public comment. And for those asking about that whole public comment thing, guess what? Doesn't work that way. You're not allowed to say shit in the middle of a meeting, and you're not allowed to say it to people, until the meeting's over. Otherwise, that is disrupting the meeting. So I can't ask after. As media, you ask. During, you have to ask after. And again, why would I ask a news media question when I come to the thing? I ask personal questions because I'm not acting as media in those moments. I'm acting as Aaron, the citizen, which I also have a right to do, but I'm separating the two. I'm not asking Sir, do you have a comment for this? He goes, no, because they're going to say, Mr. Knapp, I can hear Joel now. Mr. Knapp, we only take questions, and you have to address the chair. You need to look at me when you're talking and address the chair. Thank you. Not during the formal session. After the meeting it ended was when I asked, and in a public hallway, right? Where we're supposed to leave out of. One of two entrances and exits. Where I was engaged in what any journalist does, asking questions of a public official. What the video shows matters. You see Ray Carrion set his briefcase down. He sets it down. Right there. He put his bag down. If you're a grown-ass man, what do you think? Man puts his bag down. That's a moment of pause, right? He's making a decision. That decision is going to lead to this, and this, and this. But that moment of pause, that's the moment where a person considers what they're about to do. You see him stop. He sets the bag down, and he's thinking, or maybe he's not. This is my opportunity to engage and get what we want. So he clears that door. Maybe he's not thinking at all. It's just emotion. But he hit that door hard, wanted to shut it. I was already in it, though. That's the problem. I could either let the door hit me in the arm and the shoulder area, which I already have issues with, or I could put my foot out. Well, again, they want to think he put his foot in the door. No, not in the doorway. Not. I stopped him from slamming. All right, he put his foot in the door. No, I stopped him from slamming a fucking door on me. On me. Not in front of me, not near me, on me. It hit my foot hard. And I heard someone else in the comments say, I hope your foot hurts, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. You instigated, you did this. I can't instigate anything. Be a fucking grown-up. How about that? Don't get up in people's faces. That's the one thing I've never done to anyone. I would never do to you. Never get that fucking close to you. You look at that Sean Paul Reyes guy, that one dude spit on him. That Fahey guy. Fahey looked at him, looked at Sean Paul Reyes the way Ray Carrion's looking at me. And it goes all the way back to the McCann stuff and all that. Where I lost my job, or now I can't seem to get a job or anything like that. Remember, speaking of which, if you happen to be here by accident, right here's your link. You can donate. Remember, news media is not free, but it is in my case. But not in passing. He walks towards the doorway where I'm standing, right? And the door comes. It comes right at me. I put my foot forward to stop it from hitting me, and it still hits me. That's on video. You see from two different angles. One's on my chest where you see most of it. You see the pad in my hand. I'm holding the pad in my hand like this, right? And I'm talking. You see it in the other video where I've got it open. I'm asking my question that I've written down inside the book. And let's see what I did. Oh no, this is a different one. I have 30 of these books. There's one in the back. So I'm holding it like this. When the door hits me, all you see is this go up because my camera's right here. And so you see this pad hit it, and you don't see me, and you hear it. But when you look at the body cam, you see more, and you see it not really fully hit me. Then no one knew about the body cam footage, where they should have. I only had the live video online because it was online. So when I downloaded the body cam footage, you see a lot more. That's where you keep all these close-ups of his face. You don't see that in the body cam video. In the body cam video, in the chest video, you see this when he's stepping away. But most of the time, all you catch is him like this. But the actual body cam, which again you can tell is in black and white, and that's because I have it on night vision apparently. I haven't figured it all out yet. Catches these kind of reactions. These close-up stills. Oh, we're not going to do that. Again, so that's the thing, the body, the camera was catching this. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, shout out to the body cam. The body cam, the body cam, the body cam, folks. I mean, again, you guys can tune into this podcast later. You have to stay up with me tonight. I'm going to finish it up no matter what. And if you're not here, just watch the rest of it later. You know, it's not going anywhere. You know, I mean, they're trying to ban me from City Hall, but hey. But again, he hit me with the door. That's on video. It's not interpretation. That's not an opinion. It was a physical act captured in real time. And there's more than one angle. There's the body cam, the chest cam. There are still frames showing the timing of the briefcase and movement, the contact, right? It's not in question. He sets it down in real time. That's just like stupid. All he had to do was just go in the back office. But he had already hit me with a door. That's already set me off. I don't like being hit with a door. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't. So that's, you know, he closed the distance, the escalation into my physical space. That's not a debate about decorum anymore. That's physical. That's if I was a physical person, that's get your ass knocked the fuck out, like fuck around and find out. But I don't do that. I've trained myself after being out of the military for that long to not react that way. I tried to do the same thing that I did on October 20th, which I tried to report it to the chief of police who was present, because while the chief wouldn't take it, AJ was much more competent when he said, look, Aaron, I get it. Like, I'll get somebody to take the report. Chief wouldn't do that. So the chief straight up told me, nope, no report's taken. He mocked me. And he is the chief. Yeah, I get it. I don't take reports. But you do. Under Ohio law, you're still a law enforcement officer. And the fact that an assault occurred and, you know, you didn't want to even bother to interview or do anything in the moment at the scene of the crime while people were there and it was still fresh. You let the crime scene stale. And now I still haven't been allowed to report it. You guys had the energy to send a sergeant by my house to drop off a pissant letter, but you couldn't come take my report that you knew I wanted to make? Of course not, because it's against your guy for assaulting me and you don't want to admit that. Because what you're seeing now is a pattern. When I speak, it's a disruption. When they speak, it's control. When I raise my voice, it's a problem. When they raise theirs, it gets ignored. In fact, it doesn't even make the minutes. They lie about it. When I document something, it sits for months. When they decide something about me, it happens immediately. Not only does it happen immediately, it gets fucking broadcast in the paper. Because Carissa's bitch ass is their mouthpiece. Show a little, once in a while, I wish the Chronicle would blow my mind and show some impartiality. They've never once given me an iota, an inch, nothing. They've tried to sue me, cease and desist letters. They've done whatever they want. They're editors. They ignore me. Everyone, right? Now I'm doing this. The business license is on the wall. We're all putting out different stories. Why is it that the newspaper wants to be part of the story instead of part of the investigator? I don't want to be part of the story. I don't want to expect that my government's going to try to physically assault me. And instead of any immediate accountability for the physical contact that I tried to report in a public building, what happens next? They ban me, of course. Right? Broad, undefined ban from all municipal property. So I can't go to the fucking park. I can't go to the fucking... I can't walk on my tree lawn. A broad, undefined ban, right? No citation tied to an incident, not a narrowly tailored restriction, nothing. A removal of me as a person. And that's why you can't separate those two incidents, February 16th or October 20th, because the same imbalance exists in both. The same selective enforcement exists in both. The same willingness to escalate from one side and then punish the other for reacting exists in both. If you don't look at both of those together, when you're looking at what happened, you're really just looking at a version of it that's easier to explain, but not the true record. And for God's sakes, instead of taking my report, Fallon walked Ray Carrion to his car. You know, the part of all of this that, you know, people are reacting to And I understand why, and I need to explain it because, and again, this is going to be a long night, guys. I get it. If you leave, come back, whatever, watch it later. But I got to get the whole document out. And you know me, guys, I usually put out when I'm doing these long form if I haven't been on for a while. So bear with me. Especially when you're looking at someone who is not processing a situation the way you would, you have to understand differently, right? People have watched that clip and all they focus on is my tone, on my expression, on the way I react, on the moment. They've drawn conclusions from what that is without really understanding what's happening. You know, again, it's not an excuse, all right? First off, everybody thinks it's not your excuse. I'm not an excuse. I hate that I act that way. Despise it. Wish I could change it. Everyone always apologizes that I'm jumpy. They see me something, they rustle something, do some, oh shit, you know, and they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. It's not your fault that I'm an idiot and I can't seem to get control of that. But I also understand how TBIs work. I understand why it happens. I understand I see patients and clients, or at least I used to. And talking about these things like that, those are labels I'm not really trying to use as an excuse. They're just medical realities that affect how I process stress, how I perceive threat, how I respond in real time. And one of the things that comes to that, like with that for me, is a kind of emotional disconnect. I don't always experience things or express emotion in the way that maybe other people do or expect. When something escalates, I don't always react in a clean, linear sort of a way. And I've warned them about that. I've told them, I said, but I freeze. Sometimes I mirror. Sometimes I respond by reflecting what I am seeing instead of processing it in a way that someone else might. And that matters in this situation because what people are interpreting as erratic or unhinged is often a stress response from me. Not random, not manufactured. It's a way of trying to navigate a moment that feels threatening without escalating it further. When someone comes into your space, which is a no-no, when there's a sudden movement, when there's a raised voice directed at me, when there's a physical proximity that feels aggressive, as it did with Carry On, the brain is not always going to go to a calm, reasonable place, right? It goes into survival patterns. In that hallway, when the interaction escalated, I did not respond by pushing back. I did not respond by advancing. I did not respond by making contact. What I did was freeze and mirror. When he moved, I reacted. When he smiled in a way that felt off, I reflected it. When he was all, he was all. I'm like, I reflected it because I wasn't trying to mock him or escalate. It's because that's how my brain processes the situation in the moment. It's a defense mechanism. Oh, we're dancing now? Okay, let's dance. Oh, we're singing now? Oh, let's sing. It's a way of managing something that feels highly unpredictable. And he felt very unpredictable in that moment to me. I don't want to get aggressive. I don't want to hit somebody. I don't want to hit a government servant. That's what they want because they know. It gets them what they want, me gone. Either way, it got them what they wanted, me gone. Cool thing about them writing the letter, though, is because it gives me the easy way out. I don't have to actually go and get arrested. You gave me the arrest. You said, if you come back, we'll arrest you. That's under threat of arrest. That's the way this works. You restricted me from every public point. And you didn't even say I did anything wrong. You just said, basically, in an abundance of caution, to de-escalate. De-escalate what? Me? I'm not mad. You can't keep control of your safety service director, the guy that's supposed to control the safety in that building. He couldn't just be calm. I mean, say what you want about Tim Williams being a jackass for sending the letter. At least he's usually calm. They just don't like me because they stare at me. When they stare at me, I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you want me to do? You guys are acting like children? I'm going to act like a child back. That's the part that gets lost when, people reduce everything down to a few seconds of a video on a label. That's why I like Mauricio's, videos so much. Like, he said everything out loud the whole time. Narrates that shit for you like, Milton Berle used to back in the day, right? Now, we say as the bailiff takes the man's belt off. Uh-oh, the bailiff looks like he's getting a little frisky tonight. Somebody may be getting lucky in that back cell if there wasn't a camera. Crikey, he might be getting lucky now. LPD's coming. They're definitely going to take him to a back alley and fuck him up. See, look, I didn't say the F word. Anyway, they see reaction without understanding the conditions that produce it. They see something that doesn't match up with what they expect, and instead of asking why, they assign a narrative to it. The city knows this. They know what they're doing. That's another piece of the record that can't be ignored, guys. Like, they've been given plenty of notice of this, of me, of my disabilities, of emails, of documentation. I have Bradley acknowledging it. Ray Carrion's acknowledged it. They've all acknowledged it. Everyone knows. They have been told how I respond under those stressful situations and how my voice changes, how my behavior might shift when I feel threatened. It's not new information. It's not something that's been, it's something that they've actually heard from me directly to them. And when that information is known, there's a responsibility that comes with it, not to exploit it, not to trigger it, not to use it as a justification after the fact. Now, one might say, well, Aaron, how could they know about your disability? Well, now you know why. I get mad that I don't have to share it with anyone. I choose to share it with them for awareness sake so they understand how other people react. I think, quite frankly, I handle myself quite well considering how close he got to me and how fast he aggressively came at me. I was just watching that video earlier, and we'll maybe look at it a little bit later. It's kind of scary. Like, he did turn rather quickly. I didn't really realize it at the time because the other video didn't catch it as much as this one did, because this one catches his upper body where the other one catches his lower. I may have to adjust those angles a little. So when people watch that video and they say, about me, they say he looks unhinged, he looks unstable, he looks like something's off. I'm not going to argue that my reactions look different. They do. But different doesn't mean wrong, folks. It doesn't mean that the underlying facts of what happened can be ignored either. Because the question is not whether my reaction looked perfect, right? Whether I said the right thing or did the right thing, or whether, you guys want to, like Demaki was like, we're instigating. Well, I can't instigate with a question. Instigation comes through pushing, physical contact, poking, saying fighting words, which I didn't do. I just kept asking about that stupid question and then why she wasn't answering, or why she was getting an interview in a public area, and I wanted to listen. So, you get into that doorway and that decision, and now we have that first contact. You got to slow it all the way down because everything in the case kind of turns on that for a matter of seconds. I know it's getting late, but I do need to take another quick pause here for station identification. So we're going to get into the next part here as we move on. Part 4, for the most part, I think we've got like 5 parts, so we're getting close to the end here. But bear with me 1 second, and for station identification, and we'll be right back.
Here at Unplugged with Aaron Knapp, we like to thank our sponsors. We have a few unofficial sponsors tonight, and they are definitely not paid sponsorships. I want to throw out there a big thank you to Joseph Jones and Eric Jones of the Lorraine Daily and the Vermilion Daily. They have a local news page. You should check them out. They do plenty of great work, broadcasting all the news that is the news that you want to have in Lorain and Lorain County. So check them out. Also, please, if you need any legal services, feel free to reach out to Robert Gargas. You can find him listed online. He's a fine attorney and comes highly recommended by yours truly. And last but not least, I want to mention DNC Radio. Please make sure you check out one of the up-and-coming internet hip-hop stations and all of their shows. They put on a lot of shows. You have the Never Outdone show. You also have the Eric Bowen show, Speak Up, Speak Out. So please make sure you guys check them out as well if you're looking for your latest and up-to-date hip-hop artistry. Thank you for tuning in. This has been a non-paid sponsorship brought to you by Unplugged with Aaron.
Thank you guys for being patient there. That gives me a little time to break the voice out too. 2-3 hour podcast do take a little out of you. So that brings us to our next section, which is going to be part 4 of our little mini series here on this whole thing. The doorway, the decision, and the first contact. That's right, folks. Now we got to slow this all down, because everything in this case turns in a matter of seconds, right? And if those seconds are not understood correctly, then everything that's built on the wrong foundation. That's the point where the story changes. This is where the narrative that people think they understand starts to fall apart, right? Because this is where you stop focusing on what I said and start focusing on what actually happened first. As we saw earlier, when you play it without the sound, 2 camera angles, body camera footage, my footage from my actual chest cam, live on Facebook, still images from those that capture the timing, the placement of the briefcase, the movement across the hall to the door, the exact position of my body in the doorway. When you line those up, when you look at them from the angles, when you take them and take the time to forensically dissect them and watch them carefully instead of relying on the summary and what you hear, what you see is not a spontaneous reaction to something I did. What you see is a sequence that begins before any escalation in my voice. You see preparation. You see the movement. You see intent. Ray Carrion sets his briefcase down. That moment matters. That's the come to Jesus moment, folks, right? That's the moment before you make a good choice or a bad choice. You're having that devil moment. On one side, you got Baez, and on the other side, you got Antonio. Or you got Antonio Baez, and on the other side, you got Arroyo. Maybe Antonio Baez is like, no, Ray, don't do it. Aaron's not worth it. He's like the dude from Me, Myself, and Irene, and he has a made-up schizophrenic delusionary disorder. Don't do it. Don't risk your career. And then you got Antonio, and then you got Arroyo on the other one going, yeah, screw him. Do it. I don't know. There was a moment, there was a thought. He thought about it, and then he did it. That's the whole thing. He thought about it, and then he did it. He stopped, he paused, he set the bag down. I think he even set the coat down at that moment. And that's the thing, like, that's someone who's stopping, placing something down, and freeing his hands before he moves with that pause. That's a decision point, right? If you play video games, that's that moment where they're like, all right, auto saving. He comes towards me, right? That's a decision point. He walks towards me, not away from me, not past me, not to the right, the left, straight ass towards me. See it on the video. Distance closed. By him, not me. I'm still standing in the doorway because I'm asking a question. But I'm also walking. I'm going to walk out. I don't expect him to immediately set his briefcase down and get all pissy like that. He closes so quick, and not by me again. At that same time, I'm in the doorway, right? I'm just clearing it. I'm not chasing anyone. I'm not pursuing him down the hallway. He's right there, giving an interview to another reporter. I'm not trying to block him from going anywhere. I'm not blocking the door. I mean, if anything, if they use the argument I was blocking the door, well, he was trying to shut it. That kind of, then I think I was blocking him from shutting it, but he shouldn't be shutting it. It's supposed to be open during the meeting, and I'm pretty sure there's a fire marshal rule that there has to be 2 exits. Now, I'm positioned where I've always been positioned when I leave that building, right? At the doorway that leads to that ramp where he was at. That's where I go out. Walk up that ramp with people. I talk to people. That's part of the record, too. It's not a new position for me. It's not a new setup. That's me leaving. You can see the movement. You can see the angle. You can see the doors being pushed into the space where I am standing. Yeah, I put my foot forward, not to trap anyone, not to block an exit, not because I was trying to keep, anything, but because something is moving into my body. That's a reflex, that's self-protection. Someone slams a door on you and you're in the door. It's one thing if I ran forward to put my foot in the elevator. Completely different if I'm standing in the doorway and someone shuts it on me. That's reflex, that's self-protection. That's what people do when an object is coming at them. First it was Ray, then it was the door. And again, you guys say what you want, but even with that, there was contact. The door hits my foot, which pushes it further back, which hits my leg and my arm, and you see the impact. But then immediately carry on, or immediately, I got to give Demakia props. I'm a little hard on him all the time. But I mean, again, he's a man of many flaws. He needs somebody like me to keep him honest. Otherwise, he'll turn into a carry-on. So, he did Ray. Again, this is a repeating faction. When you listen to the audio I have, it's Ray. Ray has a pattern of blowing up and getting mad at me. He doesn't like me. I'm suing him, whatever. He doesn't like me. I get it. But you're a public servant. In that moment, if you'd just been leaving, fine, whatever. As long as you're still on city property, I'm going to talk to you. That's how this works. We talked about this. But even with that, there was contact. It doesn't pass through, like that door doesn't just close cleanly. It doesn't pass through open space. It stops because I'm there. I'm the doorstop. That's the first physical contact of this entire situation is me, Aaron, the doorstop. I had already cleared the door. He saw me coming to the door. He turns. He goes, set his stuff down. That's what happens. That's the point where it stops being about words and becomes about action. That's the moment where the situation completely changed. From an exchange of questions and answers or lack of answers into something physical. That's the moment that triggers everything that comes next, including my reaction, including my voice, including the way I respond. I mean, again, you say what you want, but he did it the way he did it. He turned around and set his briefcase down. That's like when a cop turns on his, puts on his little, gloves. He's not about to do a cavity search, at least not yet. He was at the doorway. He had the bag in hand. He had the coat in hand there. When he cleared that area, he ended up later right here. I got this one scene that's clipped out. It's just all black. That's when the door hit me and the camera got covered. This camera got covered by my pad. So if you start the story at that moment, I guess, after the whole thing and the camera clips, start with my words, tone, words, listen to the way I sound after the fact. You're telling a different story than what happened because the record shows something happened before any of that. The record shows that the first escalation was not verbal, it was physical. Once that happens, everything else that follows, has to be understood in that context, not separated from it, folks. Now, before I get into the final thought, I did want to point out one other thing. I had one other video I wanted to show you guys. And this is one that was provided by a viewer. If I can get this up right first off, let's see what's removed. Let me add the stage. All right, so we're going to try this and see if I can get to it. All right. Now, wow. There's the entire, I was at one point going to take the entire color version of it that's on YouTube and show you that version too, because it's got the different angles. But rather than do that, what I want to do is I want to go to Hopefully I still have it up. It's not there. It's not there. Of course not. But let me look here. Entry video. Yeah, here we go. All right. So we're going to share this tab instead. So I really want to point this out before I go into my final thought and close down for the night. And I'm going to make this one big. I don't know if it makes it big for you guys. I know it makes it big for me just so I can see. But what I'm going to show you here, just for a peace of mind, is not this Ren guy, even though I'm going to tell you he's pretty tight. I don't own the rights to any of those videos on the right, just in case there's an analytic out there. This is a meeting from a while back. I posted this online. It's Jane and Paula speaking. They were speaking at the meeting in Lorraine, and it caused, they were, I guess, I remember that night. They were a little extra rowdy, and, finally they were like, all right, I'll leave, but initially they didn't want to leave. And so they were asking a lot of questions at the end of Fallon and Morris. And so Garen, sent this to me and said, hey, remember this, right? Well, if you look at the article that Bradley wrote, right, he's going on and on about like how my behaviors before and after and all these things were. Well, we don't even play that part, but if you go outside, you look outside, the video outside, yeah, were we asking questions? Were we, kind of tossing stuff at them that they didn't like? Absolutely, because they're refusing to answer questions now. Nothing illegal about that. When you look at all across the United States, you got reporters doing that. But this video right here at this point, you listen to what they say.
This meeting willingly, and we sit out in the parking lot. What happens? So we can go out there and wait for every one of them to walk out.
Wouldn't be disturbing a lawful meeting at that point. So no, there's no criminal charges.
I do not want to get up and walk out of this meeting.
I really don't either, but it's up to you because I'm okay doing what for every one of them.
You understand the frustration. It's not weird.
So if we walk out of this meeting willingly and we sit out in the parking lot, what happens? So we can go out there and wait for every one of them to walk out.
You wouldn't be disturbing a lawful meeting at that point. So no, there's no criminal charges.
I do not want to get up and walk out of this.
That's them saying no criminal charges if you sit outside and wait for them to come out. Okay? That's chief of police. That's Morris. Both they're saying, that they can go out and sit in the parking lot, wait for all the council people to come out and say whatever they want, all the employees, all that stuff, right? Okay? I feel you, fam, but that's not what took place, right? Right? That's definitely not what took place. So that was what they were saying there is if you do that, this is what happens. So, all right, I get it. But that's not the way this stuff is supposed to work. You guys know it, I know it, everyone knows it, and that's the sad thing about it. But it's been a hot minute. We're gonna try to close this thing down. Let me shrink this up a little bit. This is not about a moment. This is about what comes next, folks. Because at the end of all of this, there has to be a choice that has to be made. And not just mine. It's the cities, it's the courts, and it's the public's. Because what this becomes depends on what is understood. You can reduce this to a clip. You can reduce it to a tone. You can reduce it to a few seconds where I sound loud, frustrated, and different than what people expect. And if you do that, then your answer is super easy. The narrative is super simple. You can call me unhinged. You can call me erratic. You can say this is someone who went too far. You're harassing them. You're doing this. You're doing that. And you can move on. Bye. Or you can look at the full record. You can look at the years of context. You can look at the notice that I gave them. You can look at they had a playbook on how to deal with me, which I gave them. Because I give everyone a chance to hang themselves. One of the, an analogy I always use with people was best way to lose someone is loan them money. Usually when I meet somebody, I offer them $20. Notice Garen's always trying to help you people, always offering you money. Well, one day he's going to ask you to pay him back, and when you don't, you know he's been gone. Then he'll know who his real friends are. A real friend will say, I don't have it, but I'll get it. Right? It's the best way to find out a friend. Just loan him $10, $20 when you meet him. Never see him again. Look at the context. Look at the emails. Look at the complaints. Look at the statements about finding a legal. He said this in emails to Mary Springowski. We are looking for a legal pathway to deal with Aaron Knapp, a.k.a. George Patton. That's me as a person. A legal way to deal with me. That was almost 2 years ago. Now, if you can look at that October incident and then this one, I mean, you look at that October incident and then what was left out of the record, right? You can look at the fact that I told them repeatedly how my disability affects me and how I respond when I feel threatened. You can look at the moment in the doorway and ask a simple question about who moved, who closed the distance, who made the first contact, who closed the fucking door. You can look at what happened immediately after. I mean, look, I'm going to say it. Like, you never close that door. They never close that door. They never close that door, except for when they've evacuated all the premises or whatever. They've closed it, or when they've done an executive session. That door doesn't get closed when the public's still in between moving in and out. It just doesn't. What? So he's going to slam the door in my face, and I can't go through the door. I got to walk all the way around and go out the backside because he is mad? Say what you want. You can look at what happened immediately after. I tried to file a report. Valley told me no. How can he? That's his boss. You can look at what came next. A fucking indefinite ban. Not from a room. Sorry about the F word, but come on. Not from a meeting. Not from just the city hall. From all municipal property. Without a charge. They admit it. No charge, no hearing. Without finding a decision that says I can't be in City Hall, I cannot attend meetings, I cannot access the very places where the public business is conducted under threat of criminal trespass. They've given me that. It's in writing. I have it, like right over here somewhere. It's around here somewhere. I know that it came from, the hand delivered from the city safety service director's, thing. Department of Public Safety Service. So imagine the guy's department that basically just assaulted you, just then turned around and banned you from all city property. But all municipal property. Like my daughter's like, well, Daddy, can you take me to the park? No, sorry. Can't. I'm not allowed to go to the park. That's municipal property. And again, they've admitted it wasn't charged, wasn't convicted, no trespassing, no nothing. Just to de-escalate the matter, they thought it was to not just ban me from City Hall, but from all municipal property. That's not a little bold, not a little broad, as they like to use. Honestly, if you ask me, it's pretty fucking bold, man. To think you can block a journalist, a veteran, a citizen, a taxpayer who committed no crime just because they asked questions you didn't like and you got mad and got aggressive from all municipal property. Tim Williams has been waiting to do that forever. His ass has just been eyeing me everywhere we go. He took extreme joy, and now they're going to scapegoat him for, well, he didn't have permission to write the letter. But then Bradley's going to have to explain why he supported it in the news. Now, I still find it when I click on it, but it's been said that it doesn't seem to appear on, like, rolling access on the Facebook page of theirs anymore. So I don't know. Maybe after I made my complaints, they realized they shouldn't be advertising that kind of crap because it doesn't look good on them because it's not long before it is them, and their reporter was part of it. And they didn't report all of my stuff. She didn't include all of my quote. She cut it. She made me try to make me look bad. Now it becomes whether access to your own government can be taken away without any process. Bradley says, well, Aaron can go in the newspaper. He says, well, we sent it registered mail too and regular mail. He can go to the courts and courts for what? So he did say that, right? He did say you can go to the courts, and that's where the Constitution comes in. Not an abstract idea, but there is a limit. There is a limit on power. The First Amendment does not protect comfortable speech, right? It protects speech that's inconvenient, persistent, and sometimes frustrating to the people being asked to answer for their decisions. And then you got that little pesky 14th Amendment, right? It does not allow the government to remove someone from a public life without due process, without notice, without an opportunity to be heard. These are not suggestions. These are limits. Bradley knows this. Any sworn oath holder should know. I want you to understand that. Not public property. They have removed me from public life. It feels like, since we're supporting it, that Rocket on the River is going to be the cities, so I can't go there. The bridges of the cities, can't go there. They're banning me from all taxpayer facilities. I can't go. I can't go in to pay my taxes. I have to call the law director or the mayor's office, two offices that never answer me anyway, to have them escort me anywhere I want to go in the building if I want to attend. Restrictions on my access. 14th Amendment doesn't allow for the government to just remove someone from public life without due process. And sending some three-striper to my door with his shirt untucked to deliver a message. Granted, I know you were driving your car, but get some little suspender things for your under things so it hooks, and some keepers for your belt. I'm not asking you guys to agree with how I sound. I'm not asking you to like my tone or my style or the way I do this or the questions, or the way I ask my questions. I'm asking you to look at the full record before you decide what's what, right? What this is. Because this did not start back in February, and it doesn't end with a headline. It doesn't end with the Chronicle one-sidedly pointing out stuff again. I never pissed in their Cheerios, but I pissed in their friends' Cheerios, apparently. And it is about how we got here, right? More importantly, what happens next. Because if the answer to that is, well, a person can be removed from public spaces for asking questions, then that's not just my problem. And that's not just my story. Feels like that's kind of everyone's problem. It feels like the Chronicle and other news agencies are going to be worried about that kind of stuff. They can get rid of me. They can get rid of you, right? That's the whole point. One sec on this. Now, I know Mayor Bradley said, well, he has legal avenues. I get it. You don't think, right? Well, we got the thumb drive. We got the originals. And we got the copies. I mean, as it stands, I've already got a couple against Carry On. We might as well add another one. City of Lorraine, Ray Carry On, Timothy Williams, and Jack Bradley, all unofficial capacity. And again, you guys want to play games. See it court. Again, let's play games. I'm down. And for the record, you can mail me. You can serve me a lot of ways. Don't send the Lorraine Pig Department to my house and police department to my house again. Ever. They're triggering. Unless there's an active felony crime in commission and I'm the one committing it, I guess we know you won't care. You'll let me go down with the shit. But anyway, bottom line is, folks, is you need to be looking at this as a First Amendment Act issue. You need to be looking at this as, you may not like the way I do what I do, but what I do is no different than when you look at these people at the national media level, right? How look and I see people chasing people down. I see all that stuff going on, and you're like, oh my goodness, like, look, paparazzi do it. Now, I'm not a paparazzi, right? Like, I get it. That's not what I'm out here to do. But I am out here to, find out about everything that's going on. And I am out here to investigate. And yeah, they may not sometimes like what I say or what I do. They may not like how I do it. I do know, though, they have to tolerate it. They have to allow it to happen. Ray, Jack, all these people, you guys can't just do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it and expect, outcomes to continue in your favor. You guys have really, really screwed up on multiple occasions. I mean, we'll put this back. Hold on, we got to put this thumb drive with all the evidence back into the file that we're going to file tomorrow. So, I didn't answer Carissa when she asked me if I planned to do anything to appeal this, because appeal it? I don't know about appeal it, but I got a bunch of stuff to challenge it. I know that you can't do this to somebody. I know that you can't remove a journalist, a citizen journalist from a public area simply because they're filming and asking you questions you don't like. You can't slam a door on them, their foot. You can't get up in their face and chest bump them. And then you can't be a chief of police and then refuse to take that person's report. Then allow an assistant safety service director who HR released all of his personal documents to me with his social security number, unredacted, sign paperwork against me, send it to my house with no legal due process, and then tell me I can go to court, so I have to pay to exercise my First Amendment right. You can't do that. Jack Bradley, you should have known better than that. But it just shows me how frustrated you folks are, how angry you are, and now you know it. Now you've seen the true colors of Ray Carrion. You guys say I'm crazy. Well, at least I wasn't crazy enough to move when he came at me like that, was I? When he was this close to my face. Did I move? No, I didn't flinch. I didn't move. I'm not proud of that. And that's not something to be proud of, that you can't or you won't flinch. I'm proud of the fact that I didn't do anything stupid, because I'm pretty sure that's what they hoped for. That's not going to happen, folks. Because now, knowing what was coming at me, they caught me off guard the first few times and never expected people to act the way some people act here. And this, yeah, sure, people say, oh, you've been in places, bars, whatever, and people have done this, that. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I get it. People get some alcohol and they feel like they can do certain things. I'm not going to engage in that behavior, because then people will call me violent. So, yeah, I'm not looking for an ass kicking, but if you want to kick my ass, I'm not going to sit there and fight with you. Like, do what you got to do. When you feel manly enough and you're done, maybe I will feel something eventually deep inside. But I doubt it. You're going to do what you're going to do, and I can't stop that. Drill sergeants taught us in basic. They said, once you accept that you've already died, you can get busy living. Nothing you guys do scare me, because when it's my time, it's my time. When it's your time, it's your time. There's nothing we can do to change that. All we can do is change the way that we live while we're on this earth. And, the first part of my life, I did military service. I got hurt. The second part of my life, I didn't get treated the way I should have. And I don't mean treated by people. I mean, like, going and getting the treatments I should have. And it affected my relationships in a lot of ways. Now I do try to be a good role model for my kid, try to show her the right thing to do. She was very upset, said some choice words. That's why I'm trying not to cuss today, because when I told her that, I couldn't take her to the park on the seesaw, even though I'm like, dude, you're 15. But, her friend go do it. I'm not going to complain. She still wants to be a child. She, just was in 8th grade last year. Do it, baby. Do you. She's like, well, can you come with me? I was like, well, technically, no. Why not? Well, because Tim Williams doesn't want me to go to the park with you. Why not? Well, because he banned me from all municipal properties. My daughter looks at me straight in the face while I'm driving her home from school, goes, well, fuck Tim Williams. And I was like, whoa! Stop. You can't. Well, you're singled out. What, you can't take me to the park? I was like, well, I mean, they said, normally I wouldn't think they would nitpick, baby, but, yeah, I know, they hate you. She's like, well, all I know, Daddy, is this, is that I told my best friend, and I won't say her name, that she's not allowed to move. That means we're not allowed to move. So I'm not going to let them. It sounds like they just trespassed you from the city. I was like, well, that's what all municipal property means. The city. She's like, well, fuck those guys. I was like, whoa. So no, Daddy. She's like, I know you don't like it when I talk that way, but you know what? Regardless of what you want to say, I live in Lorraine now. I talk Lorraine. She started going off. I was like, baby, that's why. I was like, I can't with you right now, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. She wasn't wrong. I get it. I mean, she sees it for what it is. Only like a kid can. They're being bullies, she said. They're being bullies just like the bullies at school. They want to bully you. They want to bully you into submission because they don't like what you have to say. I get it. She's not wrong. She's not wrong, folks. But anyway, we're at the 2 hour and 39 minute mark. I think I explained it all. I showed the videos. I showed you where here's where they're. I'll nutshell this up a little bit. Here's where they went wrong. They jumped the gun. I don't think that this was meant to happen the way it was. I don't think that Tim Williams, the assistant service director, was meant to put it out, or maybe he was. Maybe he's scapegoated. I think they put it out first, and then got CC'd, and then they were like, "Oh shit," because this was the worst thing they could do to me. It really was. Right? Cheers to you. It was the worst thing they could have done for themselves. Was to just randomly trespass me for no reason, with no lawful authority from a public space, all because it makes it easier for them. Well, that's basically what they were saying there, was it makes it easier for us. We're going to de-escalate while we can figure it out and the police investigate. Well, the police investigate what? Themselves? Because at this point, because Fallon wouldn't investigate, and because he's your boss, none of you can investigate. Again, but you're not going to do a good investigation because you wouldn't do one into McCann either. Because you protect your own. How are you going to be able to investigate the guy that signed your paychecks, basically? I mean, honestly, the safety service director has spent more money defending me. They probably could have bought against me on lawsuits that they could have just bought, 2 police cars with that money. But they continue to harass me and come at me and continue to play the same game. So in the grand scheme of things, how can you guys even have police investigate me in this town? You can't. Any more than I can have police investigate you guys in this town. You got to send it outside. Say what you want. Ray Karen assaulted me. I tried to make a report. You refused to answer. You had the cojones to have a letter delivered to my house, with no stamp, knock on my door like a bunch of freaking state trooper bullies. My brother was like, you could tell he's a cop, because I knew it was a cop the second he hit the porch. He walks like a cop. He's not wrong. And so he, comes chomping up onto my front porch and then hands it to me. I don't know anything. I was just told to give it to you. Me cop, me give, me leave, me sergeant, me waste time driving to your house. Hey, look, I guess I should count myself lucky that the sergeant wasn't drunk and didn't decide to crash in my garage, in my car, my brother's car, and then drive out the backside and then go home and hide it in his barn, right? So whatever, folks, you can believe what you want. You can keep calling me the a-hole. I'm glad to keep that title at this point. If you think I'm an asshole, I guess I'm doing okay. And if people think you're an asshole, you're okay in my book. I know a lot of you out there reach out all the time. I do my best to get back. I do get a little overwhelmed by some of this sometimes, and I do shut down just like the rest of us. For all of you who like to make fun of people with mental health conditions and call them unhinged and crazy and all the things you say, well, honestly, maybe fuck you people a little, because you don't care if we live or die. You don't care how we do anything. So why should we care about you? Why should we give an ounce of iota of even concern to your feelings about how people act? You're very insensitive when you use that word, and I get it. Oh, boo-hoo, me, right? Yeah, you're right. Honestly, I don't give a shit. You call me all kinds of names all day long. I'm not going to get mad. But other people will. Other people are hurt by those things. Other people get hurt. I am educated enough to know that, and I'm not trying to perpetuate that kind of a behavior. Sometimes I'll be mean. Yeah, I get it. I was a little mean to Rosenbaum, and I made some unplugged the wheelchair comments and whatnot, but he annoys me. You know what I mean? Let's just be honest. He put someone I care about deeply, his mom, in prison so he can just kick rocks, bro. And then he's going to go out there and say that I'm not a proper investigative journalist. Well, I have been. That's why they don't like me, because I won't sell their story like Carissa will. I won't give the county line, the city line. I'm not going to toe the road. They went outside and made up the story, I'm sure. She probably knew it was coming down before it came down. They stood outside, and everybody's talking. They went in the back, you know what I mean? Like, Ray had to be escorted to his car by the chief of police. And again, point out, I went outside to talk to them even more after the meeting, and this is the point where Morris and Chief Fallon told Paula and Jane that the same thing. They said it clearly. If we go out into the parking lot and sit, we can wait till they come out. We can say whatever we want. He's like, yep. So the fact that they're now doing it differently for me is bullshit. The fact that they let Tia Hilton come in there and cuss up White Sun down the other, and they didn't ban her. So why me? That has to be your question. Oh, well, you're unhinged. No, I'm not. He did what he shouldn't have done. And you can say, oh, you instigated him, you goaded him. Should he have done it? Did I touch him? Did I push him? Did I chest bump him into his camera? Into his new iPhone? Did I get so close that he could feel his hot breath on me? No. So, anyway, I appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. And yeah, a cop did come. They had a 3-bar guy come to my door. I forget which sergeant to drop this notice off and this wherever I had it because I took a picture of it. It's a citywide ban on. Basically, it's a ban from all city properties, and you can't do that. All municipal properties. Here it is. This letter serves formal notice that you are hereby directed to not enter or remain on City of Lorraine property, including but not limited to City Hall and other municipal facilities until further notice. This action is to be taken due to repeated disruptive conduct and behavior that has interfered with the orderly operation of city business and the safety and well-being of the city employees and members of the public. The city has an obligation to maintain a safe and respectful and orderly environment for employees, residents, and visitors conducting official business. Your recent conduct made it necessary for the city to take this action. This notice does not prohibit you from conducting legitimate city business through alternative means. You may continue to communicate with the city in writing, by mail, or telephone or email, which they never respond to, and city staff will respond as appropriate, but they don't. Should you feel the need to conduct official business that requires in-person attendance, arrangements must be made in advance through our office of the law director or the mayor's office. Please be advised that failure to comply with this directive may result in you being asked to leave the city property and could subject you to arrest with prosecution under ORC 291121. The city hopes this matter can be resolved cooperatively, and in the future interactions may occur in a respectful and constructive manner. Respectfully, Timothy Williams, Deputy Safety Service Director. CC the Mayor, Director of Public Safety and Services, the Law Director, and the Chief of Police. So that's what this was all about. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's 2 a.m. It's time for me to close. I appreciate you to stuck around this long, which it looks like I got 0 left, but there was a lot of you here tonight. I appreciate you tuning in. For those of you watching tomorrow morning and later, looks like there's another one popping in, but for those of you watching and who watched and who are gonna, watch tomorrow, thank you for tuning in. You can always message me your questions, but if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, there's no other way to look at it when you combine the two cameras. My words don't equal him being able to physically touch me. Now, they wanted to claim when it was Swanger, I just put a hand on his back. No, in this case, Ray not only came into contact with my chest. Ray not only slammed the door on my foot, my side, and my arm. He also turned around in a very aggressive manner, charging at me in the video, to a point where it kind of startled me a little the first time I saw it on here. It still startles me when I watch it. So if you can watch that part of the video,
There you are.
And you can watch this. Boom, door. Getting the times off. You see the time on the wall and the clock. That is after the door shut. And again, you're not seeing, I could show you the other front camera, but this is just the body camera view. I'm going to leave this and then I'm going to go. Now they're walking. Whoa, right there. Look again, just so quick. I was standing in the doorway. I said I'm gonna follow, but again, I'm not on him. I mean, look at that. You're not gonna follow me. You're not gonna follow me. I mean, look at that. That's so aggressive. Ray. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Crazy. I can't say that. I'm sorry. It is crazy to me that he would behave in that manner and give me that kind of a reaction. That's all I'm saying. So I appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. As you see, he walked on down the hall and I let him go, and that was it. Like, I didn't stalk him, I didn't follow him, I didn't do anything inappropriate. I wasn't unsafe. He did go outside with them. I did go outside and I did say, talk to them and whatnot. But that's exactly what Captain Morris and Captain and Captain Failing had both said at the time, that that was acceptable for us to go outside and do. So why would I not believe that? It's been posted before. They told Jane and Paula that. And why would I think that it's not okay to curse inside that building when they let Tia Hilton do it? They've set every example to the contrary. I didn't do it during a public meeting. I did it after. I did it in a public hallway of a public building as we were leaving the public building, perfectly within my rights to address the government official there, especially when giving a press conference, apparently, to one of the only two reporters in the building, and then having him get aggressively in my face trying to trigger me. And again, I challenge any one of you out there, any one of you, male or female, to tell me you would react differently or think differently as far as the way he came at me. Do you feel like that was okay? So anyway, that's the end footage of it. I appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. Be lawful, not awful, and we'll see you guys next time. I will be filing in the court tomorrow, so be on the lookout. Once that's done, I'll let you know. But this one's not going to be good for them. I guarantee you they're going to want to settle this one. I mean, you look at past cases, and every one of them, the most recent one was settled for $80,000. So, till they learn their lesson, I guess. Thanks for tuning in. You guys make it a wonderful night. I'm going to flip on over here to the media assets, because what we're going to do is we're going to give it on out with Unplugged with Nap.
Unplugged with Nap.
No,
we cut through the noise, no script, no leash, no polish decoys, broadcasting without permission. We don't ask.
Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. It's late. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Unplugged with Nap. Yeah, we cut through the noise, no script, no leash, no polish decoys, broadcasting without permission. We don't ask. We lift the curtain and we drop the mask. Unplugged with Nap. Yeah, we cut through the noise, no script, no leash, no polish decoys, broadcast.